Yes, and 3 votes no. The motion passes.
A federal vaccine advisory committee has voted to end a long-standing recommendation that all U.S. babies get the hepatitis B vaccine on the day they're born. Dr. Cody Meisner voted no.
And I will just say, we've heard do no harm is a moral imperative. We are doing harm.
For decades, the government has advised that all babies be vaccinated against the liver infection right after birth. The shots are widely considered to be a public health success for preventing thousands of illnesses. Today's recommendation, which has to be accepted by the director of the CDC, would overturn a 30-year-old policy.
The Supreme Court said today it will weigh in on President Trump's attempt to end birthright citizenship. Melissa Quinn is following.
This birthright citizenship policy has been the cornerstone of the president's immigration agenda, but it has actually not yet taken effect. Every single lower court to weigh the constitutionality of this policy has ruled against the Trump administration and blocked the administration from enforcing it.
Stacey Lynn reports a federal judge has given the Justice Department permission to release transcripts of a grand jury investigation into Jeffrey Epstein in Florida, a case that ended with no charges.
The judge said he was granting the Justice Department's renewed request in light of the bill that Congress passed last month, known as the Epstein Files Transparency Act. It required the DOJ to release all of its records related to Epstein.
President Trump met today in Washington with Mexico's president and Canada's prime minister. Linda Kenyon reports.
The three are co-hosting the 2026 FIFA World Cup, so they were all together at the Kennedy Center for the drawing. Immigration and trade have been on the table. In addition, Mexico's President Sheinbaum has floated conversations about President Trump's U.S. military strikes against alleged drug trafficking boats in the Caribbean. She has made it clear she will not accept a U.S. military presence in Mexico, although she will collaborate with the U.S. in other ways.
Steve Kathan reports on the death of a renowned architect.
Architect Frank Gehry spent his career rethinking shapes and material. His buildings, like the Walt Disney Concert Hall in Los Angeles, became tourist attractions in their own right. And President Obama noted his influence when he bestowed a Presidential Medal of Freedom Award in 2016.
The idea of what architecture could be, he decided to upend.
Gehry was 96 years old. On Wall Street today, stocks finished higher. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Just in, body camera footage of a fatal officer-involved shooting. That's after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
All right, Aaron, Home Comfort Alliance has the update. Everett to Marysville up a bit to 15 minutes as volumes pick up between the Boeing Freeway and 529. The drive to Everett from Bellevue into Seattle looks really great this afternoon. Just minimal slowing for both routes. Linwood to Seattle, 35 minutes. It is bumper to bumper Lake City Way into downtown. Southbound 405, same story. Thick from mid-Bellevue to about 112th. And then this opens up pretty quickly for you. Bellevue to Renton, about a 35-minute drive. Seattle to Federal Way, 35 minutes. You're slow from MLK Junior Way all the way past State Route 516. Over to the Valley Freeway, southbound 167, getting really thick now between State Route 18 and Puyallup. And, of course, North 5 jams up through Pacific. South 5 at State Route 16 in Tacoma. A collision blocks the left lane of the off-ramp to 16. We have a high wind advisory just issued at the Narrows Bridge. And Tacoma to Olympia, give yourself 50 minutes. When your home feels colder than it should, comfort matters. For heating, plumbing, or electrical you can trust, call the comfort people at Home Comfort Alliance or visit homecomfortalliance.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. Seattle Police Department just released the 911 calls before a deadly officer-involved shooting Tuesday in Seattle's Rainier Valley.
Hey, you guys better send somebody quick, man. There's a dude walking up the hill on Othello. He got a gun in his hand, and he just pointed at everybody that drive by.
KIRO News Radio's James Lynch got a look at the officer-worn body camera footage.
In the video, the intersection is crowded with cars and people, and the suspect can be seen walking toward officers and pointing the gun directly at them. They open fire, striking the man multiple times. He falls to the ground, then points the gun at officers again. They shoot him a second time. John Urquhart is a retired King County sheriff and law enforcement analyst.
People want to know is what other possibilities did the Seattle Police Department have other than shooting him? And I don't think they had any.
Officers fired more than 21 rounds before the incident was over. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
You can find a link to that video at mynorthwest.com. More than half of Washington's violent crimes are going unsolved, including over 400 homicides and 7,000 rapes since 2022. This is according to the Council of State Governments Justice Center. Crime analyst Jeff Asher says a big factor is the state's police staffing shortage.
It's much harder to hire officers in 2025 than it was 30 years ago.
In all, nearly 50,000 violent crimes from the past 3 years remain unsolved. Team USA is coming to Seattle for next year's World Cup. KIRO 7 TV's Dee Dee Sun says the U.S. is set to face Australia at Lumen Field.
We can confirm USA takes on the Aussies in Seattle on Friday, June 19th. That is going to be an expensive ticket, with tickets on StubHub starting at $1,000.
One of 6 World Cup matches that will take place in Seattle. Work crews will start replacing the Bullfrog Road overpass on I-90 this Monday. Expect single lane and shoulder closures all week as crews begin their prep work near Cle Elum. A full week-long closure of westbound 90 is coming in mid-December, weather permitting. WashDOT says the project should wrap up by mid-January. Forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Rain and breezy at times for the rest of today. Some snow on the way also for the mountains. Mainly Stevens Pass is going to get the bulk of it, though, it looks like tonight. Right now we're looking at rainy conditions and 57 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. This is the John Curley Show on KIRO News Radio.
Welcome to the John Curley Show. Tim Gatos in for John Curley today. We've got a great program for you, and we've got some big shoes to fill with John Curley, although I think they're a size 9, so not too big.
8.5.
8.5, okay. But we're got a lot to cover, a lot to get into. We got a great program. Cliff Mass coming up in a few minutes to talk about the what he's calling the Godzilla atmospheric river.
He didn't call it.
He didn't call it that.
No, somebody took his blog and you know,
they took that.
Thought they needed a monster in there.
We're also going to be talking to John Scholes of the Downtown Seattle Association. He's going to be joining us and talking about, he's on the Mayor-elect Katie Wilson transition team, which is, an unusual pairing, right? You've got the, John, and John would say he's a tried and true capitalist.
Yeah.
And Katie is not. And so that'll be an interesting conversation. That'll be a lot of fun.
I think it's good that she picked a few people from across the aisle or across the fence.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, I disagree with her policies on a lot of things, but when you don't walk into your kind of typical ideologue pathway that everyone expects and you do something different, then, man, I got respect for that all day. So I hope, but just like Bob Ferguson, I had a lot of doubts about what Bob Ferguson was going to be like. And when he came out the other day and said, hey, we're not raising the sales tax. We're not going to raise the property tax. It's like, hey, I can get on board with that. And I'll respect, even though I don't agree with a lot of your policies, I didn't vote for you, but I will absolutely respect and go to the floor for someone who's going to not walk in the typical pathway that you think.
Yeah, if he starts cutting, that's going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, big news, folks. The World Cup announcements came today, and I tell you, people are so excited right now because we've got the U.S. Is going to be playing Australia here in Seattle, June 19th. So we got the Aussies coming to Seattle. That's going to be a lot of fun. And
Aussie. Oi.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be so much fun here in Seattle. And a lot that buzz is starting to pick up now that we know who the U.S. is playing, who's in their group, all that stuff. It kind of becomes reality now that it's coming in just a few short months. We're going to have the world stage here in Seattle. And I think a lot of that talk, that Trump brought up of like, we're going to kind of move this thing if they don't get it together. I think that's, we can move on, I think, from all that stuff and say, let's get ready and put on a great World Cup. And I actually think it's great, with Katie Wilson getting elected and in the sense that, hey, what's going to happen with public safety with Katie Wilson. We don't know, right? But the fact that World Cup is basically a few months after she gets into office, I think is really good, because I tell you what, the last thing she wants is to have something happen on the world stage while she's a brand new mayor. She's going to, I mean, I don't know her, but I've got to believe that any human in her position is going to want to be like, okay, this better come off flawlessly. And she is a Sounders fan, so I think she's going to want it to go well.
Gonna polish the city a little bit.
Yeah, I was part of. So I was the Sounders chaplain for 12 years. So I worked with the team for many years. It's a great organization, great people. I'm now with the Mariners, and we did a community cleanup. If you remember, we had the All-Star game a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And so I worked with the Mariners and I worked with the Seattle Chamber, and we put on a community cleanup a couple days before the All-Star game. And you may remember a lot of people in the media, they were just like, man, this is just all for show and, that kind of thing, which, partly was just to like have some goodwill coming into the All-Star game and to clean up around Soto and things like that.
Pioneer Square still looks amazing.
Just from that day?
Yeah, from the All-Star game.
Yeah.
I go down there all the time. It's not, there's, not a lot of businesses open, but it still looks nice.
Right. I mean, we could talk motive all day, and we should talk about motivation and agendas and those kind of things. But at the end of the day, if it ends up cleaning things up, and man, can we please start with graffiti, please? For the love? My goodness. I can't believe Seattleites like myself are okay with just the inordinate amount of graffiti that we're just kind of like, we've normalized now. We're just like, it's just normal. It's just part of it. And I live up in Lake City, and we are covered in graffiti now. And we're like the northern suburbs. It's like,
downtown's not much different, but it is. I noticed the other day I drove through the Mercer Tunnel for the first time, and that got all cleaned up, and I hadn't seen that cleaned since 2020. So I think they're slowly but surely working on it. I know they put a couple people in jail for graffiti, which is new around here, so maybe they're working on it.
I know. I hope so. Hey, my two least favorite words in the dictionary, Joe, atmospheric river. I tell you, I don't know. I feel like just back in the day when it was just a rainstorm, I liked that better. But we're going to talk to Cliff Mass, UW professor of atmospheric sciences. Cliff, Matt, give us this has become kind of the new. I know it's not a new term, obviously. I mean, for subject matter experts like yourself, but now it's kind of become the lexicon of how we talk about it. Share about that a little bit.
Sure. Well, it used to be the Pineapple Express. If I put you a time machine 20 years ago, it was the same thing. And basically all it is a plume of moisture, a current of moisture coming out of the tropics and the subtropics that moves into the mid-latitudes and then moves into our region. And when all this moisture hits the mountains, it's forced to rise, it cools, and it drops a lot of precipitation. So that's what it is, a current of moisture out of the tropics.
Yeah. Cliff, you're very logical, sensible. I love reading your blog. I love reading your tweets for years. I mean, you do a great job of just stating facts and just keeping it to that. But this latest one, I mean, it was talking about what's coming this next week. You're scaring me because, I mean, you're talking about something maybe we haven't seen in a long time, right? They're talking about a Category 5 atmospheric river.
Right. I mean, we've gotten these before, but this is a major event, and it could be, one of the largest, most productive, if we want to call it that way, atmospheric river in probably several years. And so we're talking about the potential for 15 to 18 inches of rain in the mountains. That is a lot. And so what's going to happen is that, going into the rivers, and right now the River Forecast Center is forecasting major flooding on some of the local rivers. So I would expect places like the Snoqualmie Valley, there are going to be large areas that are going to be underwater. And the Skagit will be some of the same things. So there will be areas that flood.
Is there any hope? Because when I read about this, my thoughts and my hope go towards rain shadow, and I'm like, please, can I please get a rain shadow here in North Seattle Is there any hope for a rain shadow in North Seattle and we won't get hit as bad?
Well, Seattle, in the lowlands, it's not going to be that bad. I mean, there'll be several inches of rain if you're in North Seattle, but that's nothing like what's going to happen in the mountains. The mountains are a completely different world in terms of intensity and duration of rainfall. So it'll be wet. Things will be, sopping wet, but it's not going to be a flood situation if you're in Shoreline or someplace like that.
Right. But folks out in, like, say, Tolt, Carnation, those folks should be on, they should be ready to go for sandbags and things like that.
That's right. And they're used to this kind of flooding. And this is not the first time this has happened. So some of the low-lying areas, most of it's farmland, but not all of it, could very well flood. And of course, there'll be some people that'll go to Snoqualmie Falls, where there'll be an unbelievable show. I mean, it'll be extraordinary to see the water. If you can get there, it'll be an extraordinary show at the falls.
Now, talk about what's this going to do for our drought scenario. I know there's a lot of, I don't know if controversy is the right word, or just confusion about, are we in a drought truly? And obviously, KC6 killer announced that last year. Talk about that a little bit. What's this going to do for that? And is the drought that we've been under, is that much ado about nothing?
Well, I think it's much to do about nothing. I mean, we have been drier than normal, especially during the last year. There's no doubt about that. But the truth is we get more precipitation than we need here in the Northwest. So if we get a little bit less, if we get 25 or 30% less, we can handle it pretty well. So a number of the river basins are running low. Some of the major reservoirs, like the Yakima Basin, they're about half of what they should be at this time of the year.
Yeah.
So we're down. The Washington agriculture actually did pretty well under this drought condition. So anyway, it's not the end of the world. But what is clear is that the reservoirs are going to fill immensely with the rain that's coming in. All the west side reservoirs will be at normal or above normal when this thing's over. And even on the east side, there'll be considerable refill. So, right now we're technically, according to this, the NOAA graphic, we're under drought conditions now, extreme drought. Well, that's ridiculous. And after this event, it'll be doubly ridiculous.
We had someone who took your blog and coined it the Godzilla atmospheric river. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like it's going to be a Godzilla?
Well, no, in fact, I did that. So
you did that?
It wasn't someone else. It was me.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I like to call it the Godzilla atmospheric river. Some other people have a scale, like the hurricanes, from 1 to 5. And according to the official evaluation by the people at University of California, San Diego, who do this thing, this is an AR5, an atmospheric river 5. This is like a category 5 hurricane. This is the top atmospheric river you can get. So whatever you want to call it, this is a big one.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, when you hear category 5, you're like, oh my goodness, you think tornado. But obviously this is
or hurricane. Yeah.
Right.
So this is a category 5, of the atmospheric river.
Oh,
so this is a big one.
Okay. Stay safe, Cliff.
Oh, I will. I'll keep away.
Hey, really appreciate you joining us today. Thanks a lot.
Okay, no problem.
All right.
Take care.
That's Cliff Mass, professor at the University of Washington. Atmospheric Sciences always brings the science to what's happening in our weather. Really appreciate him taking the time. And
he did coin the Godzilla.
He did, man. So come on, Joe.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Jeez, man.
He sounded like he was proud of it,
man.
too. Yeah.
I know he was proud of it. He's like, no, that was me. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it's going to be a lot of fun. Here we go. Let's gear up. Hey, Joe, I was thinking of, and we're going to get into this later. A couple days ago, we went and bought our Christmas tree at Hunter's Tree Farm in Wedgwood, which, by the way, those people are awesome. That's been tradition for us for years. And
is that a lot or like a farm where you go cut them down?
No, it's a lot. It's in Wedgwood.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually.
I mean,
you never know.
And I tell you, a lot of folks there's certain things we always gauge inflation by, right? Gas obviously is something you always gauge inflation by. And I've always thought Christmas trees are always one of those things too, because you do it once a year and you typically remember, what you paid for year over year in terms of your Christmas tree. And it's just one of those things you remember, and you can kind of gauge where things go. And certainly that's been the case. We've been going to the same place for 10 years at least. And, back 10 years ago, we always get the same size. We get like a 7-foot noble fir.
Ooh, 7.
Is that big time?
I think so. I mean, you must have high ceilings. That's a big
Well, you
one.
live in a condo,
That's
man.
true.
You're like 5-footers, right?
I get the Charlie Brown trees.
Yeah.
Not even 5.
So it was interesting. The last 2 or 3 years, it was always $100 for the same tree. This year, it went to the checkout and it was $152. And I looked over at my wife. I was just like, "What is that is significant? That's some significant inflation to go from 100 to 152 1 year." Now, hey, granted, I haven't done the studies and the surveys to see what's going on with Christmas trees this year. I know a few years back there was a shortage and things like that, but I tell you, when you go from that kind of thing, I think that makes a big difference in, we talk about, tipping, we talk about cost of living, we talk about affordability and the things that we are impacted by here in Seattle in particular. You've probably seen the index that came out recently where we were here in the state of Washington. We were, I think, about 23 in terms of affordability in 50 states about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And now we've gone from number 23 all the way up to number 3. So we've gone up the list in a list you don't want to go up to number 3. And here we are. We're like, man, how do we get out of this doom loop of living here and the affordability? And
Did you consider going 6, 5.5? Or did you not even know until you checked out?
Yeah, I mean, we'd already. It was the guy took the tree.
It was tied to the car.
I mean, he did it. He cut it off and all that kind of stuff. It was ready to go. So, but you're probably an artificial tree guy anyways, aren't you?
Well, I used to be. I had one for about 10 years. Finally tossed that 2 or 3 years ago, and we've been getting a really small real one the last couple of years. And it was even I don't even think ours was 3 feet, if I'm being honest. And I'm pretty sure even last year it was like $100. But it was one of these in the middle of the city lots. They're just gouging you.
Yeah, totally. Tim Gatos in for John Curley here on the John Curley Show. It's check in with Nate at the real-time traffic desk. How we looking, Nate?
Hey, it's not too bad out there. The Victorian Christmas Festival has got the update. In fact, good news in Tacoma. We cleared our earlier crash, westbound 16 at Sprague Avenue. Westbound 16. Eastbound 16 at Center Street. We've got a car that just slid off the roadway, stuck in the mud there. Bit of a distraction to drivers, a brief backup at the scene, but it isn't blocking. Tacoma to Olympia just hit 1 hour. You got some crowding in South Tacoma to get through. 3 to 4 mile thick backup along JBLM and more slowing heading into Olympia. Here, North 5 crowded from South Tacoma or through South Tacoma now. Nothing real heavy yet. Linwood to Seattle, a half hour. You're slow from Northgate into downtown. And North 5, we're looking at typical slowing from the Michigan Curve into downtown. The Victorian Christmas Festival, presented by Puyallup Chocolates, underway now through the 7th at the Washington State Fair Event Center. Buy tickets at VictorianChristmasFestival.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Save the date, Wednesday, December 10th. Join KIRO News Radio and Treehouse for the 37th Annual Holiday Magic, providing holiday gifts and year-round support for more than 6,500 kids in foster care statewide. Over the past 36 years of Holiday Magic, we've delivered 182,000 gifts across our state. Join KIRO News Radio and Treehouse this year and share the joy of the holiday season. Wednesday, December 10th. Text MAGIC to 888-973-5476 to learn more.
Retirement sneaks up fast. One day you're saying, I got plenty of time. And the next thing you know, you're asking, when do I take Social Security and how much tax will I owe? Hi, everybody, it's John Curley. If you're approaching retirement, listen up. On December 11th at 6:30 p.m., Madrona Financial and CPAs are hosting a free Zoom workshop, The 7 Steps to a Successful Retirement. It's the whole picture: taxes, investments, Social Security timing, income planning, Medicare, estate planning. Madrona does retirement the way way real people live it. They're both wealth advisors and CPAs, so they'll show you how all the moving parts fit together. You'll learn how to avoid tax traps, build a simple income plan, and how to protect your savings from market volatility. It's friendly, eye-opening, and you can join right from home. Call 833-673-7373 to sign up. That's 833-673-7373. Take an hour and finally get clarity about retirement.
Paid political announcement.
More than half of short-term rentals across Washington are booked by Washingtonians. Families traveling for their children's tournaments and games. Firefighters fighting wildfires. Traveling nurses providing critical care. Every day, short-term rentals are helping make travel more affordable. Legislators in Olympia are considering increasing taxes on short-term rentals. But with the cost of everything going up, we can't take another price increase. Keep travel affordable for us. Paid for by Airbnb helps our state thrive host pack.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Our country is held together by small businesses. That's a fact. It's also a fact that 9 out of 10 of those small businesses will fail. Why? Because it's hard, really, really hard to build a profitable business from the ground up today. Pure Talk knows that. They started as a small American wireless company determined to keep their customer service in this country. It worked. And today, Pure Talk is determined to help other small businesses prosper by offering them the same white glove service the big guys get. Same service, same 5G network at a truly affordable price. Pure Talk is focused on businesses that employ welders and roofers, electricians, plumbers, HVAC techs, the people who keep the lights on. If that sounds like your business, give Pure Talk Business a try and see just how much you could save. Dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who understands the power of small business. Pure Talk.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
What does VA mean to me?
A place for my daughter to call home. Thanks to the VA Home Loan.
A new lease on life. The best healthcare team I've ever had is here at VA.
And education and the opportunity to open doors I never thought possible with my GI Bill.
The financial support I need to manage the disabilities I developed because of my service.
Get what you earned. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
Mariners tickets for 2026 are on sale now.
Number 60! A catcher has hit 60 home runs!
Cal Raleigh and your AL West champs will be back in action before you know it. And now's a great time to lock in your seats for the biggest games. We'll be celebrating our 50th season all year long, from opening day on March 26th to epic events like Randy Johnson's number retirement. Plus, don't miss marquee matchups against the Yankees, Phillies, and more. Go to Mariners.com to get your tickets today.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. Washington's Attorney General is joining Democratic lawmakers to propose a new law they say will protect the rights of immigrant workers. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey reports.
The proposed Immigration Worker Protection Act would force businesses to alert workers whenever federal authorities request proof of their legal status. It also says businesses don't have to let federal immigration agents inside unless agents have legal authorization, like a warrant. Businesses like Anna Castro's La Salvadorian Bakery in Seattle.
I want my employees to feel safe. Right now, it's scary times for many people, no matter what their status are.
Castro says business is down because many customers are afraid to leave their homes to shop. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
U.S. Supreme Court agrees to review President Trump's executive order that aims to end birthright citizenship. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson.
The Supreme Court's going to take up this case. I think this was always destined for the court. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think this is maybe 8-1, 7-2 that no, the president cannot do this.
President argues the 14th Amendment, which grants citizenship to all persons born on U.S. soil, does not apply to children born to undocumented immigrants. Metal thieves have hit Sumner Cemetery. Here's KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay.
Sumner police say some plaques and bronze markers have been stolen from the cemetery recently. They say the VA will pay to replace the markers for veterans. The city will pay for the rest. Police plan to boost security at the cemetery. If you have any information about these thefts, you're asked to call Sumner PD. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Sound Transit says light rail across Lake Washington will open before the end of May.
We, as an agency, are doing everything we can to open it sooner than that. So we don't have an official opening date yet, but we can confidently say it will be before May 31st.
That is Sound Transit's Rochelle Cunningham. She says the Cross Lake connection will link Seattle to Mercer Island. On the I-90 floating bridge, they should start doing test runs later this month. Coming up on 3:32 now, we go to the real-time traffic desk. Here's Nate Connors.
All right, Aaron, Seattle Sports has the update. So far, so good. Just the usual backups for our mid-afternoon drive. Seattle to Everett, Bellevue to Everett are both 40 minutes. I-5's you got some crowding through Shoreline and Mount Lake Terrace. 405 slows through Kirkland. Linwood to Seattle, we're at a half hour, and you're slow from Northgate into downtown. It gets pretty heavy there in the U District. North 5 slows at the Michigan Curve in the downtown. Our lake bridges are wide open. South 405 gets thick between Southeast 8th down to Cold Creek Parkway. Bellevue to Renton's at 25 minutes. Seattle to Federal Way is inched up to a 40-minute drive. It's heavy between 405 and 516. Tacoma to Olympia is at 1 hour. We're crowded in South Tacoma. It gets real thick for a few miles through JBLM and then more slowing as you head into Olympia. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Checking your forecast, brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Rain at times for the rest of this afternoon, staying breezy as well. Isolated showers tomorrow. Heavy rain starts to pick up on Sunday and doesn't let up for a few days after that. Right now, 56 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This hour brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance, heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical. Tim Gatos in for John Curley on the John Curley Show. Great program for you today. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to talk to Johnny Scholes, CEO of the Downtown Seattle Association. He's part of the elect mayor, what's her name? Wilson. Katie Wilson.
That's the one.
Man, I'm still surprised.
Yeah, right.
But he's on the transition team. We're going to talk to him about that, how that's going, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Tell you, one of the things that I have tried to talk about when I've been doing either this show or other shows and talking about what's happening in Seattle, King County, state of Washington, around fraud and waste. If you're following some of the things happening in King County, we know that there is significant issues when it comes to fraud and waste. Hundreds of millions of dollars. The independent auditors have come in and talked about the issues that we're seeing. And the thing that's been frustrating about that is that there's been sort of a lack of urgency from our King County council members, from our past King County executives, current ones. I mean, we just have a brand new one now. And the thing that always just I can't get over is that the number one issue of the day is affordability. Would you agree with that, Joe? I mean, like when it comes to that could be the number one issue. That's why Katie Wilson got elected. That's why we're seeing some of the changes happening around our country with Mamdani. It's all about affordability.
Universally, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's so expensive to live here in Seattle, King County, state of Washington. We just talked, last segment about Christmas trees, right? I mean, affordability is such an issue that we are dealing with. But I guess my shock is that when it comes to, let's just say King County, not knowing where hundreds of millions of dollars are and what it's going to, and the potential fraud, not even potential, we've seen the receipts of this stuff. And it's almost like the response, not only from elected leaders, but also even just kind of the media in general, is kind of this, okay, okay, yeah, you kind of expect it.
Well, and that was an audit of 3%, I think, of the programs that are in question.
Right.
So,
I mean, imagine you did the whole deal.
Well, they did. I think it was last week they announced that they passed that audit on to an independent auditor or an audit firm that's going to dig into the rest. So.
But I mean, if someone came and stole money from you, and you'd probably be up in arms, and you'd want some answers about who stole the money, why did they do it, and you'd want it back.
How did they get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here we are. I mean, we're taxpayers, right? We're paying. The King County budget is monstrous, right? I mean, they oversee billions of dollars, and the fact that this is kind of an oh-hum approach to this. Now, I bring all this up because we're seeing this whole conversation get brought into the national conversation with what's going on in Minnesota. And I'm very glad, and this conversation needs to happen. And it's finally like happening. If you turn on your X feed, and finally we're seeing the New York Times report on this. We're seeing the AP report on this with what's happening in Minnesota, that they're talking about $1 billion, and maybe, in fact, I saw today a report that upwards of $6 billion of fraud over the last few years in Minnesota. And people are now talking about it, which is great. We need this conversation because, my goodness, if affordability, again, is the number one issue, and basically our government is an ATM machine for criminals, I think we got to do something, do we not? And so that's what's going on in Minnesota. It raises that alarm level that we need a serious reset. Our system is broken. It's not like, we just got to do better due diligence. I mean, it is absolutely broken. You think if you dive into all the duplicate federal state programs that exist, I mean, there's all these duplicate programs, and there's a reason why criminals can very easily get in there and take these things. Everything from, the SNAP and WIC, unemployment insurance, Medicaid, Head Start, Pell Grants, public housing, rental assistance, legal services. I mean, the list goes on and on. Even in Minnesota, you're talking about autism services, right? I mean, there's like hundreds of millions of dollars in autism fraud. Like, how in the heck? What in the world? So we just need, I think, just a total reset in our country about how we approach, this welfare state. And we're seeing this. Now, the thing that's frustrating to me, because to me, this is an 80-20 issue, right? Where 80% of our population, right, would agree with, like, man, we need, this is not good, right?
Like being stolen from.
Fraud and waste is not good. And whatever we find in King County, that's an 80-20 issue, right? Like, that is not good. What's happening in Minnesota is an 80-20 issue. And what's interesting, I'll share a little of my frustration that happens with Republicans, is that they can just absolutely boondoggle this stuff. And I mean, this is set up on a platter for you to take unfortunately, it's atrocious momentum, right? Because you're talking about all this waste, but it's gifted to you on a silver platter because the American public is going to agree with you on this, and it's a huge black eye on Democrats, right? Because they're overseeing this type of fraud, right? But unfortunately, I think Republicans they screw up on this stuff, and they don't, in my opinion, activate it in such a way that they should. For instance, okay, and none of us are surprised by, let's say, Trump's response to this, which Trump, in a way, he kind of pivots on this thing, and he moves it from like a welfare issue that we need to totally reset our welfare programs, and kind of moves it more into an immigration conversation, which I get that those are connected, but at the same time, I think John mentioned this yesterday, like, when Trump comes out and then, he calls the Somali people garbage, right, in Minnesota, all of a sudden that just kind of reframes the whole issue of what's happening, and it gives the Democrats who are, and the fraudsters, let's just call them the fraudsters, it gives the fraudsters the opportunity who are, have this massive black eye, that they can kind of use that to their advantage as kind of cover, right?
It shifts the focus. It just, the headlines are instead about the fraud, or they're about what Trump said about the Somali people.
Totally.
Yeah.
And when really, if they just keep leaning and being laser beam focused on these issues, because really, Democrats have had so many bad policy ideas and decisions. If you get into California and we're going to be this climate leader, and you talk about waste and fraud with the hundreds of billions of dollars that have gone down the tubes in California. And if Republicans can just be laser beam focused on not only the bad policy, but the fraud and the waste, oh my goodness. But here's some audio from Trump of his response to this.
Look at their nation. Look how bad their nation is. It's not even a nation. It's just people walking around killing each other. Look, these Somalians have taken billions of dollars out of our country. They've taken billions and billions of dollars. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. It's a fraud. She tries to deny it now, but you can't really deny it because, it just happened. She's always talking about the Constitution. Go back to your own country and figure out your Constitution. All she does is complain about this country. Without this country, she would not be in very good shape. She probably wouldn't be alive right now. So Somalia is considered by many to be the worst country on earth. I don't know. I haven't been there. I won't be there anytime soon, I hope. But what Somalia and what the Somalian people have done to Minnesota is not even believable.
I think we just got to keep the focus on what the main thing here. And unfortunately, it gives the Democrats the opportunity to say, man, Trump's a racist and all this kind of stuff. And it's great opportunity for them to move away from the actual issues that are happening. And it is happening with Somalians, obviously, no question about it. Yeah. You have to call a spade, but we need to move, many people off of government dependency, not just for moral and societal reasons, but because government has an obligation to taxpayers, to the truly needy, because the people who are getting ripped off are the truly needy, right?
Yep.
Those are the ones who are getting ripped off. We got to right size and return to a system that can function, one that is lean, efficient, able to focus its dollars on the actual mission, which is temporary assistance. So in a perfect world, we tear down the maze we've added to for a century now and replace it with a central clearinghouse for short-term government support, able to interact efficiently with the states. That's what we need to do. And I hope that conversation can continue, because the fraud and the waste and from the taxpayers' dollars has got to change. So Tim Gatos in for John Curley on the John Curley Show. Coming up after the break, we're going to be talking to John Scholes at the top of the hour. And for now, though, we're going to toss it over to Nate at the real-time traffic desk. What's up, Nate?
Hey, the Victorian Christmas Festival, that's what's shaking. Bellevue, eastbound 90, just before 405, 3 left lanes are blocked. Looks like we've got crews cleaning up debris of some type off the freeway, and you're backed up across the East Channel Bridge. You've just got one lane open right now. Crossing the lake from Bellevue, coming the other way into Seattle, wide open this afternoon on both 520 and I-90. Seattle to Everett, Bellevue to Everett continue to look great. Both are 40-minute drives. Everett to Marysville is a 15-minute trip. Linwood to Seattle Seattle, we've actually improved from our last report, down to 25 minutes. It's solid from Lake City Way in the downtown. Southbound 405 still thick from about mid-Bellevue down to Cold Creek Parkway. Bellevue to Renton's at 25 minutes. Renton to Puyallup along the Valley Freeway, 45 minutes. Westbound 512, you're heavy coming off the Valley Freeway all the way over to Canyon Road. This is just heavy volume. And Tacoma to Olympia up just a bit, now taking an hour and 5 minutes. The Victorian Christmas Festival, presented by Puyallup Chocolates, underway through the 7th at the Washington State Fair Event Center. Buy tickets at victorianchristmasfestival.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
The Northwest's trusted news source.
We're learning that it was two brothers who were fatally shot in Lacey.
KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more.
More than 140,000 fentanyl pills and powder were seized.
Experienced voices you trust.
A fierce budget fight is coming down to the wire.
Coverage you can depend on.
King County's $20 billion budget.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
John Curley here for Longevity Medical Clinic. I have to tell you, I don't know where I would be in my life without Longevity Medical Clinic. I've been a patient for 15 years. It's so easy to get started. Schedule a free health analysis appointment online with longevitymedicalclinic.com. During your visit, you're going to spend a full hour with your doctor to craft a comprehensive health plan tailored to your exact needs and lifestyle. I've been able to reduce my risk for serious disease like heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Longevity will help you plan for long-term well-being and personalized healthcare. The approach is really simple. It's proactive. It focuses on prevention, going beyond the traditional model of just merely managing your symptoms and treating conditions as they arise. Let's face it, just because you're getting older, we're all getting older, it doesn't mean you have to fall apart. Get started with your free health analysis at Longevity Medical Clinic. That's longevitymedicalclinic.com. Again, that's longevitymedicalclinic.com.
Your new home is now ready. D.R. Horton, America's builder, has new homes that are ready today. With new construction communities throughout the Puget Sound and Central Washington areas and more coming, D.R. Horton has the right home for you. At D.R. Horton, we're still building with more construction, more communities, and more homes available every day. Find your new home, now ready at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now the company's changed, or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-656-3300, 206-656-3300.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
At your local credit union, WSECU, making a difference isn't just a motto, it's a mission. That's why they're honoring Washington's community champions, the everyday heroes who strengthen our communities. Steve Rabel here with WSECU board member Marcus Glasper, and it's time to announce our next community champion.
Our community champion this week is Sean Tibbetts. Sean is a Tacoma restaurant owner who sets aside time to cook meals for families in need, free of charge. This holiday season, he'll feed more than 500 people. Thank you, Sean, for keeping your neighbors nourished.
The Puyallup Tribe of Indians and Salish Cancer Center are excited to announce the 3rd annual Giving Hope Gala. You can help support the Giving Hope Gala December 13th at the Emerald Queen Casino Event Center and raise money for the Patient Financial Assistance Fund. The Salish Cancer Center helps anyone battling cancer, and attending this incredible event supports that cause. For tickets, sponsorship, and additional information on the Giving Hope Gala, visit puyalluptribe-nsn.gov. That's puyalluptribe-nsn.gov.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice. DayandNight.net. This month, Day and Night gives you a free furnace with the installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
dayandnight.net. Get ready, because Murphy Auction is closing out the year with a massive Marysville equipment auction with the complete dispersal of AA rentals, 7 mini excavators, 17 skid steers, tractors, backhoes, telescopic forklifts, and over 100 gas-powered landscaping tools. Need something heavier? A John Deere 85G excavator, a Hitachi ZX290LC, a Cat CS563E roller, and 10 high-reach boom lifts, plus 3 big-time dump trucks hit the block, a 2018 Kenworth T880 Super Solo, a 2019 Peterbilt quad axle, and a 2005 Kenworth T800 quad axle, plus a fleet of 6 2017 to 2019 Peterbilt 567 tractors. The biggest auction of the year of heavy equipment, trucks, and more is underway now and closes at 10 a.m. Thursday, December 11th. Visit murphyauction.com for details. That's murphyauction.com.
For 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has earned local trust with honest pricing and guaranteed repairs. That's why they're Carfax preferred. No gimmicks, just great service. Bucky's.com.
KIRO News Radio has your chance to win 4 tickets to the Seahawks game, Sunday, December 14th. Head to the KIRO News Radio app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter to win. You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter through the KIRO News Radio app, the better your odds will be. Do it every day, December 2nd through December 8th. Details and rules at mynorthwest.com/win. From the station where the 12s hear the Hawks, KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Welcome back to the John Curley Show. Tim Gatos in for John today. Appreciate you being with us. And my goodness, beautiful day here in the Pacific Northwest. It's going to get wet and soggy, but we're used to it. Hey, Joe, I don't know if you saw this, but some big news out of Hollywood.
Yes.
Netflix and Warner Brothers. My goodness, Netflix says they're going to purchase Warner Brothers for $82 billion. Oh my goodness. That's a big number. They're going to acquire the film and television studios, HBO Max, HBO. This is a significant deal, significant move. The takeover would give Netflix such beloved characters and franchises such as Batman, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones. Netflix's cash and stock transactions valued at about $27.75 per Warner Brothers Discovery share, and Netflix will take on another $10 billion in Warner Brothers debt. Warner's cable channels like CNN, TNT, HGTV are not included in the deal. They will form a new publicly traded company in mid-2026. So there's a lot of questions about what this means. And quite frankly, I texted a friend of mine who's a producer down in L.A. to get his thoughts. He says he doesn't think it's going to go through.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, he thinks this won't get, he doesn't think Trump will sign off on this. And really the Senate, he doesn't think the Senate will sign off either from antitrust issues, creating this essentially a monopoly on the streaming side.
Yeah.
Right. In fact, I think it was Elizabeth Warren just came out with a comment that says this deal looks like an anti-monopoly nightmare. A Netflix Warner Brothers would create one massive media giant with control of close to half of the streaming market, threatening to force Americans into higher subscription prices, fewer choices over what and how they watch, while putting American workers at risk. That's Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts. The merger would also give Netflix control over a lot of the, Warner Brothers movie studios. So there's a lot of questions about what that means for the type of films that are going to be coming out and just how many are producing films. And so this is going to be a lot of people talking about this over the next few days and what this means.
I read the just having the ability to train AI on all Warner Brothers assets was a big part of it too.
Oh my goodness!
I know Netflix is definitely they're rubbing their hands together over the AI possibilities, whereas some studios are just completely anti, as all the unions in Hollywood are against it.
Yeah,
so.
And Paramount Studios, I mean, they're jumping in. They're trying to fan the flames. They're lawyers. They sent a letter to Warner Brothers this week, in which it argued that the sales process has been rigged in Netflix's direction. And so they're saying the regulatory headwinds of this are just not going to go through. So
do you remember, Blockbuster Video had an opportunity to buy Netflix for $50 million. And I think it was about 2005 or something, and they laughed them out of the room.
Oh my goodness.
And now Netflix.
We might still have Blockbuster brick and mortar sites had that gone through, right?
Yep.
I'd do anything to just go to a Blockbuster tonight and take 2 hours to pick out a movie.
I think there's one in Oregon. You could do it if you drove fast.
Tim Gatos in for John Curley. Let's check in with Nate at the real-time traffic desk. Hey, Nate.
Yep, Bellevue, eastbound 90, just before 405. Those 3 left lanes are still blocked. That leaves 1 right lane open, and you're backed up onto Mercer Island. South 5 in Seattle at 520, a collision partially blocks that far left merge lane. Southbound 405, thick from mid-Bellevue to Cold Creek Parkway. Bellevue to Renton, pushing a half hour. Renton to Puyallup, 45 minutes. Seattle to Federal Way, 40 minutes. And in DuPont, South 5 at Stillicum DuPont Road, we've got a stall blocking your right lane. This adds to a 4-mile backup through JBLM, Tacoma to Olympia, hour 5 minutes. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Hello, folks. John Curley here. You know that moment in December when you step out of bed and the house feels, well, colder than it should? Yeah, that's when comfort starts to matter. And comfort isn't just about warm air. It's knowing your home is ready for winter. And if something breaks down, you're not stuck wondering who to trust. You've already got the right people, the kind that show up and tell you straight what's going on and fix it without turning it into a sales pitch. That's why I've trusted Home Comfort Alliance for years. Through every winter in Washington, they've kept my place comfortable and always treat my home with care. So as you settle in with a family this season, make sure your home's ready too. And if anything in your heating, plumbing, or electrical system needs attention, call the comfort people at Home Comfort Alliance or visit homecomfortalliance.com. Don't wait till that old furnace fails on a cold winter night. Schedule a consultation today at homecomfortalliance.com. That's homecomfortalliance.com.
If you're looking for a great reason to get that new set of wheels for your car or truck, look no further than Wheel Week at Les Schwab Tires, where you can save 15% on select wheels from your favorite brands, including Raceline, Icon, Method, Vox, and Fuel. Whether you're upgrading or looking for the perfect gift, get a great deal on new wheels this holiday season. Stop by a store or book an appointment today. Les Schwab Tires. Get more from less. Limited time offer while supplies last. See leschwab.com/sale.
What's your holiday tradition? It's G. Scott here. For me, it's gathering with loved ones around a meal that brings joy. For many families, that tradition feels out of reach. Next time you shop at Safeway, please donate to Nourishing Neighbors. Your gift provides groceries to families across Washington, giving them access to nutritious food and the dignity to shop like the rest of us and choose what's meaningful for their holiday table. Visit nourishingneighbors.com and donate at your Safeway checkout. That's nourishingneighbors.com.
AAA asked me if I would change my name from Sir Mix-a-Lot to Sir Mix-a-Lot. I said, why would I do that? They said, you're more than just a rapper. You're a car collector. You're a businessman. You're an inventor. Just like AAA is more than just towing. They have awesome travel advisors and insurance agents. And they got 3 A's in their name. Maybe I should change my name. Give me 3 A's, mix, mix, When I say mix, give me 3 A's, mix,
Welcome to Cricket Wireless. Santa?
I've got to get Mrs. Claus a gift or I'm in a whole lot of trouble.
How about a single unlimited line? Only $35, plus a free Moto G 5G.
Dude, you're a lifesaver. Here, take a present.
Says it's for Timmy in Des Moines.
Never heard of him.
Join Cricket Nation and get a single line for $35 per month, plus a free Moto G 5G. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. Requires activation of new line on select unlimited plan or higher. Pay $40 first month. New lines only. First month service charge. Tax to sale fees. Terms and restrictions apply. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. See cricketwireless.com for details.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Not only does Progressive let you bundle your insurance, they also give you round-the-clock protection. Get a quote today at Progressive.com.
Supreme Court to consider birthright citizenship.
I think this is going to be a bit of an uphill battle for the Trump administration.
Hepatitis B recommendation for babies at birth on track to end.
8 votes yes and 3 votes no. The motion passes.
D.C. pipe bomb suspect.
Brian Cole made a very brief appearance in court.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Jennifer Kuiper. The Supreme Court agrees to take up the constitutionality of President Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. The order says children born to parents who are in the U.S. illegally or temporarily are not American citizens. Critics have sharply disagreed. CBS's Melissa Quinn explains.
The 14th Amendment has long been understood to confer citizenship on people who are born in U.S. soil. But the Trump administration is arguing that that is wrong. And it has said that interpreting the 14th Amendment in this way can have destructive consequences for the U.S.
The High Court has not set a date for oral arguments, but it is likely to be early next year with a ruling in June. A CDC vaccine advisory committee has voted to recommend babies get their first hepatitis B shot at 2 months of age rather than at birth.
Vice Chair Dr. Robert Malone voted for the change. He's one of several vaccine skeptics Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. appointed to the panel.
Policies that the American public have experienced during COVID has severely damaged their confidence in public health and in the vaccine enterprise.
Dr. Cody Meisner voted no.
We've heard do no harm is a moral imperative. We are doing harm.
The American Academy of Pediatrics opposed the change, saying the vaccine is safe and effective. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
After meeting today in Florida, U.S. and Ukraine officials say they'll meet for a third day tomorrow after progress on a security framework and urging Russia to commit to peace. They say in a statement that progress on a peace deal depends on Russia. A Virginia man accused of planting pipe bombs near the Democratic and Republican Party headquarters on the eve of the January 6th U.S. Capitol riot has made his first court appearance. Brian Cole Jr. of Woodbridge, Virginia, did not enter a plea in district court in Washington, D.C. CBS's Scott McFarland.
According to charging documents, they linked Cole to those bombs through cell phone records, which allegedly place him at the scene that night, and by purchasing credit card records, which they say show he bought some of the components similar to those found in the bombs.
Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery say they've entered into an agreement that will join Hollywood's storied film and TV studio and the streaming platform in an almost $83 billion cash and stock deal. It still needs regulatory approval. Stocks rose on Wall Street. The Dow closed up 104 points. Now this.
Check off the wish list with instant savings and free battery offers on select Steel tools. Shop online at steelusa.com or in-store.
Seattle police release video of a fatal officer-involved shooting that's coming up after Nate Connors at the traffic desk.
All right, Aaron, over in Bellevue, eastbound 90, just before 405, 3 left lanes remain blocked. It's unclear what is causing this. I haven't received any confirmation from WashDOT or State Patrol for that matter, but we've got 3 lanes blocked. That leaves 1 lane open, and you're backed up to North Mercer Way right now. Heading into Seattle, South 5 at 520. Keep an eye out for a collision way off to the far left merge lane. You're backed up to Lake City Way. Seattle to Everett, Bellevue to Everett look great this afternoon. Just 40 minutes each. South 405 is thick from Southeast 8th to Cold Creek Parkway. Bellevue to Renton, a 25-minute drive. Renton to Puyallup at 45 minutes. It gets really thick from State Route 18 all the way into Puyallup. In fact, that extends onto westbound 512, and that backup remains remains steady all the way out to Canyon Road. As far as I can tell, this is just heavy volume. And in DuPont, South 5 at Stillicum DuPont Road, it's a crash blocking that right lane. We've got a 4 to 5 mile backup into JBLM, Tacoma to Olympia, up to an hour and 10-minute commute. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM. Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. Seattle police today released the body camera video of the officer-involved shooting that left a man dead in the Rainier Valley Tuesday afternoon. In that video, the man is seen walking toward multiple officers and pointing his gun at them.
Drop it! Drop it! Drop the gun!
Police shoot multiple rounds. The man goes down before he points the gun at officers again, and they open fire a second time. Retired King County Sheriff John Urquhart says officers had no other choice.
There's people out there on the sidewalk, in buildings. You don't know what he's going to do. If he doesn't shoot at them, will he shoot at somebody else? They have to eliminate that threat.
You can find a link to that video at mynorthwest.com. A hookah lounge in Seattle where a man was shot and killed Monday will not reopen. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has the updates.
On Thursday, Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes declared the business a chronic nuisance property, and the owner, Faru Bergia, agreed to shut the business down permanently rather than go through the time and expense of trying to keep his business open. In his decision, Chief Barnes cited multiple violations of the city's nightlife ordinance, staying open past 2 a.m. without a license, along with a number of violent and drug-related incidents at the lounge. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
World Cup excitement. Seattle learns which countries will play at Lumen Field next year. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey says the city is hosting 6 matches.
June 15th, we're going to see Iran play New Zealand. June 19th, U.S. versus Australia. 24th, the playoff winner versus Qatar. And then on the 26th, New Zealand is back in Seattle. They're going to play Belgium, which is a big, big, big game because Belgium is a huge team, a favorite to win the World Cup or at least go to the semis.
Seattle also gets a second-round match and another in the round of 16. Major storm is building off the Pacific right now, set to arrive in western Washington early next week. Meteorologist Scott Sistek tells Seattle's Morning News it'll bring several inches of rain.
So that'd be like taking all of November and squeezing it into like a week or even just 5-6 days. So it's a lot for us.
Be prepared for flooding along local rivers. Your weather update for the weekend brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. We'll see some showers at times for tonight. Breezy as well, off and on rain tomorrow. And then heavier rain starts to arrive on Sunday. Right now, 55 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. This is the John Curley Show on KIRO News Radio.
Hey, we're back. Tim Gatos in for John Curley today. Appreciate you being with us. Got a lot to cover, a lot to get into. We're going to have a lot of fun. Coming up just a moment, John Scholes of the Downtown Seattle Association will be with us. And, we're talking about the World Cup earlier, and I was talking to some of the local Seattle organizing committee folks of the World Cup here, and they were a little disappointed with the draw in terms of who was coming to Seattle. They kind of revealed we were kind of hoping we were going to get either Brazil or Portugal, Japan, South Korea. Those were some of the hopes that
shorter flights.
Shorter flights and kind of build on the, maybe that, Pan-Pacific relationships that we have. And so, but we got Australia coming. At least we know that. So
are they good?
U.S. Australia. I'm not entirely sure. Where are you on the excitement scale, 1 to 10, Joe, for World Cup?
I'm not a big soccer/football guy. I do enjoy the World Cup when it comes around. It takes me, as long as the U.S. is in it, it keeps my attention. As soon as they're out, I'm kind of out.
Yeah. Well, this is Seattle, man. We're fired up. Yeah. We're excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. People are they're getting ready already for what's going to bring to Seattle. And I know someone who is excited about this as well is John Scholes, CEO of the Downtown Seattle Association. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. I only see you now when we do this. What's up with that? We used to
in 2D and just audio. I don't know, man.
Jeez, we used to.
Too busy.
My goodness.
Yeah, this guy's got all kinds of jobs now.
Yeah, I know. You doing all right? You doing good?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm sitting at the 75th floor of the Columbia Tower looking out at our beautiful
There you go.
Puget Sound and Olympics and downtown skyline. This is a gorgeous city. And the sun came out, kind of.
Is that your new spot, Columbia Tower Club?
No, I was invited by a friend, so I came over today. But,
okay. All right.
Yeah.
I used to hang out there.
I'm not here regularly. It's a good spot. Yeah.
It's a good spot. I like that spot. It's a good spot.
Great view.
A lot of people, John, they're just like, oh man, what does a Katie Wilson mayoral administration mean for Seattle? Right? A lot of clearly in the business community, there's just a lot of oh my goodness, what does this mean? A lot of people who are just wondering about public safety, what all that means. And, she made a couple decisions that, one, I was excited to see you be on her transition team, which I think is a great thing. A lot of times you just don't know how, and we obviously still don't know how is she going to lead and how is she going to lead our city. But if anyone is willing, I obviously don't agree with her on probably a number of things, but if you're willing to bring people into the conversation, bring people into the team and listen to all sides, then I've got respect for that. And, I want to just, get your comments and thoughts on, okay, you're on the housing affordability and community needs policy team for the mayor-elect Katie Wilson transition team. I mean, how did that come out? I mean, talk about that whole relationship that you have with her, and were you surprised that you were asked to do that, or was that kind of no, I kind of expected that?
Well, I did not know her well before she ran for mayor. I mean, over the last 10 years, we've sort of operated in a similar political space in the same political sphere, but often on very different sides, and have found ourselves on opposite sides of a number of issues. The Compassion Seattle initiative and charter amendment that we filed several years ago to force the city to address homelessness differently, on taxes on jobs and businesses. So we were sort of on opposite sides, but we sat down, a month and a half ago before the election for an hour or so downtown and had a really great conversation. And then I texted her once the race was called and said, hey, congratulations, look forward to working with you. I know her consultants well that helped her get elected. And so I've been looking for opportunities just to connect because, like you, there's a lot I probably don't agree with her on, or I know that I won't agree with her on. But I think there's opportunities to work together. And I've been impressed so far she's been out talking to lots of different people, wanting to learn, wanting to get a perspective that maybe she didn't come in with. I spent some time with her this week. I invited her to our tree lighting celebration downtown last Friday night at Westlake, and her daughter came and had a great time and stayed for the festivities. So, yeah, I think this is my fifth or sixth mayor that I'll have worked with in my nearly 20 years with this association. And surprisingly, I've never agreed with them 100% of the time. So I don't think I'll agree with this one 100% of the time, but I'll always sit down and try to bring forward ideas and perspective of our membership and why it's so important to have a healthy downtown in our city and region.
Yeah, well said. If you could lean in on two areas, with her and her team and say, okay, these are the two areas I'd love to just be able to speak into this administration and speak into some of the plans and policy, what would that be?
Well, the first would be just to recognize that we have made a lot of progress to revitalize downtown over the last 3-4 years. And I credit Mayor Harrell and Councilmember Nelson and others. We got more people living downtown. Visitor numbers are back to 2019 levels. So there's a lot to celebrate, but we are still in a very fragile place. We are not growing jobs in the city of Seattle. They're going across the lake. We have the highest office vacancy in the country at 34% downtown. We have declining commercial values for buildings in downtown, which is going to put additional property tax pressure on residents. So we're at a very fragile state. So I'm imparting that on the administration. And then the second is an area that she ran on, and which was to do more to help people off the street. I credit the Harrell administration for addressing tents and encampments, but we still have way too many people that are suffering on the streets with behavioral health issues, with drug issues, and we have to do more to intervene. We've been waiting in some ways for the fire to come to the firehouse. We need to bring the fire hoses to the fire. We need to bring treatment. We need to bring intervention. We need to bring housing. We need to engage with people at 12th and Jackson, at 3rd and Pine, and Ballard in the U District. And I liked a lot of what I heard on the campaign trail and what I've heard from her since around her commitment to more places for people to be, to bring people inside so that we can have safe streets, safe parks, safe neighborhoods for everybody.
Here's the thing that frustrates me a little bit, and I'm surprised that people still do this. And it'd be great if someone like you and others would kind of change the vernacular and how we speak about this, because it seems now, we kind of use the blanket homelessness terminology, right, in this whole conversation, right? And as soon as you use that term homelessness, then we all say, oh yeah, well gosh, we don't want homeless, and we got to make sure that we do something and we get housing and we get all this and the services and da da da. But yet what I've seen as someone who's lived in, Seattle my life, is that term has changed, and yet we don't change with how we use it, right? I mean, like these encampments, the encampments that I see where I live in Lake City, these aren't homeless encampments. These are drug encampments, right? And there's a difference, because we do have people who truly are homeless, and we need to your point, get them services, housing, things of that nature. But a lot of what we see is not homelessness, and yet we still use that term homelessness to describe non-homelessness. Why do we do that?
Yeah, it's become convenient shorthand in some ways, but I think you're right. We should be very specific about what is taking place on our street. And there's certainly plenty of people that are on the street without a home, and they lost their job and they couldn't pay their rent, and they found themselves homeless. Maybe they didn't have family or friends that they could turn to. And we also have people deeply addicted to one of the most lethal drugs that we've ever seen, the most lethal drug we've ever seen, fentanyl. We have behavioral health issues. We have folks that are out there hurting and harming others. We have people running chop shops for bicycles and other stolen goods out of tent encampments. We have retail theft. So we have a range of issues on our street that sort of amount to disorder, which is probably a better word and shorthand for it. And we should have a range of interventions where we can distinguish between those who are out there hurting and need help, and those that are out there hurting and harming other people and need to be held accountable. The set of solutions and interventions need to be responsive to the explicit set of issues that we're seeing and the behaviors that we're seeing on the street.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. Let's be specific in the language and the situations that we see, and make sure that we're applying the right prescription to address it.
I mean, you mentioned Mayor Harrell and like the job that he did in downtown, and obviously that's your home. That's where you work. But there was collateral damage to that, right? To the kind of the push to like, okay, let's clean up downtown. Let's get people off the streets. Where did they go? They came to my neighborhood, I mean, literally.
We no doubt shifted. Yeah, we no doubt shifted many of the issues, and what we need to do is solve them. And 12th and Jackson isn't much better than it was 3 years ago. Some might say it's worse, as 3rd and Pine has gotten a little bit better, and 1st and Pike got a little bit better. We know that some of those challenges went right up the hill to the International District. All these neighborhoods in our city deserve to be safe, to feel safe. We're spending as a city government 80% more out of our general fund than we did 10 years ago. And I don't know that there'd be a lot of people that feel like we're getting 80% better city service for the dollars we're spending. So these neighborhoods deserve to be safe and healthy. We shouldn't just shift it. We need to solve it. And we certainly shouldn't normalize it. These are not normal conditions to walk in the heart of your city and see a couple dozen people trading, selling, using, suffering from the most lethal substance that we've ever seen on our planet. Yeah. And if there were 12 or so people 5 years ago in a restaurant that was supposed to be closed because of public health restrictions during COVID that was operating illegally, public health would have intervened immediately to say we need to stop the spread of this virus.
Yeah.
But we've got 12 people on a public sidewalk spreading a deadly substance and ingesting it. And collectively as a community, we're sort of walking by.
Yeah, you mentioned Katie Wilson's some of her ideas around, homelessness, which, to your point, I was with you during her campaign. I was like, man, this sounds better than what Harold's doing, and it sounds better than Harold's policies, especially when it comes to like emergency shelter and talking about let's get back to some of the emergency shelters we would do, and the Union Gospel missions, and let's get people into more emergency shelter situations. Where Harold was, a little more like, oh man, let's build these $500,000 per unit apartments, right? And permanent supportive housing for people who are struggling with the addictions that you're talking about. Now, I haven't gone into the details of Katie Wilson's, policy around that, but I'll tell you from a cursory view, it sounded a lot better than what Harold was doing.
I've appreciated the urgency she has brought to this issue. And I think in a lot of ways we sort of overcorrected coming out of COVID, where we shut down a lot of congregate shelters for some good reasons during a pandemic. But we've not created enough places where people can be inside. It's much better than off the street. If we got 4 walls and a roof, that's a better situation, whether it's a tiny home, whether it's an emergency shelter, whether it's enhanced shelter, than an alley or park or sidewalk. And we need to move faster to create those places, or more people will die on the streets from fentanyl and other issues as we head into winter. We know that. And we know we'll have more people sort of caught up in other things that are impactful to a neighborhood. Our streets and sidewalks weren't built for people to be living on them, but we've turned them into places for people to live, unfortunately. So yeah, I liked what I've heard around the urgency there of like creating more places for people to come inside, and then when we get them inside, we can better understand what do they need to be employed, what do they need to address their addiction. Let's get them inside first. Yeah. We brought 12 new people on our downtown ambassador team this week, and 80% of them had just gotten out of prison, King County Drug Court, and the correctional system. Yeah. And now they have employment, they have wages, they have benefits, they have some housing assistance out of the gate. And we don't talk enough about the power of income and employment to addressing the homelessness crisis and the drug crisis and the public safety crisis in our community. We need to put money in people's pockets, and a lot of other things will go well for them if we can do that. Talking
to John Scholes, CEO of the Downtown Seattle Association. You mentioned earlier about these, we need our leaders to wake up because jobs are leaving. And man, we cannot get into a doom loop, right? Where all of a sudden we lose these jobs, these major employers, all the tax revenue that comes with that. I'm surprised that people are okay talking about the loss of what that revenue would mean. Brad Smith talked about it recently, president of Microsoft, right? Where it was kind of like, I felt like it was like a warning shot, so to speak, to both city, county, and state, right? A warning shot of like, you guys, you got to wake up a little bit here, folks, and start thinking like logically and critically about what you do if you keep raising those taxes, if you keep doing business hard in Seattle. Not only, to your point, will they move to Bellevue, but Bellevue will then move to Vancouver, as what Brad Smith just said.
Yeah, and I want to challenge the premise that both the state and city and throw in the county are short on money. They will collect more money this year than ever. So this is not a budget deficit. This is a spending problem. I mean, if I went and maxed out my credit cards beyond my salary that I will take in this year, and I went home and said we have a budget deficit, I think my spouse would look at me and say, no, you have a spending problem. And that's what's happened in local and state government. We're outspending the resources. But that's kind of that's the Democrats kind of like when you look at someone's CV, and I've looked, like you look at primarily on the Democrat side, like an elected official or someone who works in state government or county government, like what they put on terms of their resume of like what they've achieved, it's always the amount of money that they've been able to kind of, get the revenue that they've been able to get. So like, that's not going to change, right? Because that's their
that's what they build their kind of portfolio off of.
Well, it only changes if voters, desire for it to change. But I think, measuring how much we spent this year versus last year is the wrong metric. We should measure against the outcomes we're trying to achieve, and we should have fewer people outside. We should have better parks and better transportation and better schools. Let's have some clear metrics and outcomes, and then figure out what it takes to do that. But simply raising taxes for the sake of raising taxes, which is sure what it feels like coming out of Olympia with another $2 billion payroll tax before they got into session, coming on top of $9 billion in historic increases, feels like raising taxes just for the sake of raising taxes. And we ought to be smarter about how we're managing state government.
In 20 seconds, there's a lot happening downtown, Christmas, holiday happenings. You guys are doing a lot of stuff. What's the number one thing you should tell people to do this Christmas holiday season? What should they see?
Come downtown.
Go to downtown.
The Space Needle is doing a holiday brunch. I can't pick favorites, but the Space Needle is doing a holiday brunch. That's a cool thing to check out. Go to downtownseattle.org to check everything else out.
Awesome. John, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it, man.
Hey, always appreciate the opportunity, Tim.
Talk soon. All right. John Scholes, CEO of the Downtown Seattle Association. Tim Gatos in for John Curley on the John Curley Show. Let's check in with Nate at the real-time traffic desk.
All right, Tim, Bellevue eastbound 90 just before 405. 3 left lanes remain blocked. It is still unclear why these lanes are closed. It looks like they're cleaning up some sort of debris, but again, I have yet to receive any confirmation from WashDOT or authorities on this. So we're backed up to the Mercer Tunnel. Seattle to Bellevue has climbed a half hour on I-90, 15 minutes on a wide-open 520. Crossing the lake westbound is still wide open in both 520 and I-90 as well. Unheard of for this time of day. South 5 into Seattle, heavy from the U District to the West Seattle Bridge. Linwood to Seattle's a half-hour drive. Seattle to Federal Way, 35 minutes. South 405 is thick in Bellevue from Southeast 8th to Cold Creek. Bellevue to Renton, 25 minutes. In DuPont, we cleared that collision. South 5 is Stillicum DuPont Road. You're left with a 4-mile thick backup along JBLM that starts near Gravely Lake Drive. Tacoma to Olympia is up to an hour 15, but this is going to start to improve now that we cleared that collision in DuPont. And both directions of State Route 161 are heavy through South Hill between the mall and 187th Street. That's 5 miles of backups. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Save the date, Wednesday, December 10th. Join KIRO Newsradio and Treehouse for the 37th Annual Holiday Magic, providing holiday gifts and year-round support for more than 6,500 kids in foster care statewide. Over the past 36 years of Holiday Magic, we've delivered 182,000 gifts across our state. Join KIRO Newsradio and Treehouse this year and share the joy of the holiday season. Wednesday, December 10th. Text MAGIC to 888-973-5476 to learn more.
Retirement sneaks up fast. One day you're saying, oh, yeah, I got plenty of time. And the next thing you know, you're asking, when do I take Social Security and how much tax will I owe? Hi, everybody, it's John Curley. If you're approaching retirement, listen up. On December 11th at 6:30 p.m., Madrona Financial and CPAs are hosting a free Zoom workshop, The 7 Steps to a Successful Retirement. It's the whole picture: taxes, investments, Social Security timing, income planning, Medicare, estate planning. Madrona does retirement the way real people live it. They're both wealth advisors and CPAs, so they'll show you how all the moving parts fit together. You'll learn how to avoid tax traps, build a simple income plan, and how to protect your savings from market volatility. It's friendly, eye-opening, and you can join right from home. Call 833-673-7373 to sign up. That's 833-673-7373. Take an hour and finally get clarity about retirement.
What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense, and that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part: no annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply.
Cold is leaking and rocks are moving and mold is creeping and water seeping in. It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
Hey, it's Brock Heward here, and you got to take the First Mark Insurance Challenge. It could save you a lot of money and get your family better coverage. First Mark has saved my family thousands of dollars every year. Take the First Mark Challenge. It's totally free. Just simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
Paid political announcement.
More than half of short-term rentals across Washington are booked by Washingtonians. Families traveling for their children's tournaments and games. Firefighters fighting wildfires. Traveling nurses providing critical care. Every day, short-term rentals are helping make travel more affordable. Legislators in Olympia are considering increasing taxes on short-term rentals. But with the cost of everything going up, we can't take another price increase. Keep travel affordable for us. Paid for by Airbnb helps our state thrive host pack.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice.
Dayandnight.net.
This month, Day and Night gives you a free furnace with the installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Dayandnight.net.
Cars for Kids reminds you time is running out to donate your car for 2025. Call 877-CARS4KIDS now to secure your 2025 tax deduction and vacation voucher. That's Cars with a K.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BOOST25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BOOST25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BOOST25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granello. Washington's Attorney General says he wants new protections for immigrants. AG Nick Brown was joined by several lawmakers today as they propose the Immigrant Worker Protection Act.
The proposed Immigration Worker Protection Act would force companies to alert workers whenever federal authorities request proof of their legal status. AG Brown says it also means businesses don't have to let federal immigration agents inside unless they have a warrant.
And I see this bill as a way to level the playing field against that backdrop of intimidation under this administration.
Immigrants make up 15% of the state's population and 21% of economic output. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
U.S. Supreme Court will review President Trump's effort to end birthright citizenship. CBS's Melissa Quinn lays out the case.
The 14th Amendment has long been understood to confer citizenship on people who are born in U.S. soil. But the Trump administration is arguing that that is wrong. And it has said that interpreting the 14th Amendment in this way can have destructive consequences for the U.S.
Oral arguments are set for early next year. A decision could come down in June. Federal Vaccine Advisory Committee voted today to end a long-standing recommendation that all U.S. babies get the hepatitis B vaccine on the day they're born. Dr. Helen Hsu is an infectious diseases expert at UW-Medicine.
Hepatitis B is silent, and it doesn't really cause disease until much later in life. And so we're really not going to see the effects of this policy change for 10 to 20 years down the line.
The new advisory committee now recommends the birth dose only for babies whose mothers test positive. The West Coast Health Alliance, which includes Washington, says it disagrees with the committee. Light rail trains will soon cross Lake Washington. Sound Transit's Rochelle Cunningham says the I-90 tracks that connect Seattle to Mercer Island will open by May 31st, maybe sooner.
These are some very cool technologies that we have on the I-90 floating bridge, and it's just going to be a world's first. We're super excited about that.
They expect to start doing test runs later on this month. Now to the real-time traffic desk at 4:34. Here's Nate Connors.
All right, Aaron. Seattle Sports has our update. Overall, we're looking at light volumes this Friday afternoon. We do have a big issue, though, heading out toward Bellevue, eastbound 90. Just before you reach 405, 3 left lanes remain blocked. We're a good hour into this. Again, it's unclear what exactly is the purpose of closing these lanes. There's nothing visible on our cameras blocking, but it's there. 3 lanes blocked. That leaves 1 lane open. Seattle to Bellevue has climbed a half hour on I-90, less than 15 minutes on a wide open 520, and you're backed up bumper to bumper inside the Mercer Tunnel right now. Oddly enough, crossing the lake westbound into Seattle is wide open on both 520 and I-90. Downtown Seattle, South 5, heavy from the U District to the West Seattle Bridge. Linwood to Seattle is going to take you a half hour. North 5, crowded from the Michigan Curve in the downtown, very typical. South 405 is thick from Northeast 8th and Bellevue to Cold Creek Parkway, and then this opens up pretty quickly for you. Bellevue to Renton will take you a half hour. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway has improved already to 40 minutes, and Tacoma to Olympia an hour and 5 minutes. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. A bit windy for tonight. Some rain showers at times tomorrow. Expect the rain to pick up, though. Late Sunday nights, it'll be really heavy starting next week. Right now, 55 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Today is the day to help local kids. It's the Day of Giving telethon for the KIRO 7 Cares toy drive to benefit the Salvation Army. Every dollar helps bring a smile to local kids. Call 206-217-1237 or give now at KIRO7.com/toy drive.
This hour brought to you by Bucky's Auto Repair. Tim Gatos in for John Curley today. Thanks for being with us. And I tell you, as the holiday season approaches, many Americans seeking ways to find tranquility amidst the hustle and bustle. So they might want to consider moving to Seattle. Ooh. Because Seattle is now officially the United States of America's 3rd most relaxed city. Da, da, da. I am so relaxed, right? I am so relaxed right now. I can't. As soon as I read that, I just everything just fell off of me. I'm so relaxed. I don't know if you like lists like this. I love lists like this, but when you hear this, Joe, I mean, you're a relaxed guy. You're chill.
I'm very chill, yes.
You're chill.
So it makes sense. If I were surveyed, I would say, yes, I'm relaxed.
I mean, I was reading this, and initially I was like, when I put Seattle in the relaxed category, I was having a hard time really digesting that. I was like, but then I thought, you know who I thought of? Can you play this audio for me? Here's who I thought of.
I'm the dude. So that's what you call me, that or his dudeness or duder or, El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Are you employed, sir?
Employed?
You don't go out looking for a job dressed like that, do you? On a weekday?
Is this what day is this?
I love it. That is... Oh, can we just talk Big Lebowski for just a few minutes?
Oh, I would love to.
I mean, that's top 10. That's cult classic.
Absolutely.
That's
and I used to live pretty close proximity to Jeff Bridges, and he would come under our radio show all the time.
Oh, really?
And he is. I mean, he's not even acting.
Who he is.
Yes, he's not acting.
Yeah.
I promise you that.
And that's what he said. Actually, I mean, he's like, in fact, they took clothes out of his closet.
Oh yeah.
To film the movie.
One of the greats.
Well, when I think of, being relaxed, I think of the dude. And Seattle is the most relaxed city. Here's how they're saying this, right? They're saying that in the, Seattle, it's got a population of about 741,000 people. It's 11th in mental well-being, 3rd in physical well-being, 4th in financial well-being, and 5th in recreation options. So that's kind of the categories that they're saying. This is how we do so well in all of these, that it kind of spits out the analysis that we're third most relaxed.
I tick all those boxes are ticked for me, other than having a lot of money. But I kind of get it. And you actually mentioned this too. There's a lot of single people in Seattle. There's a lot of people with no kids in Seattle. So there's a lot of the things that I think add stress to people's lives. Maybe people in Seattle just don't go for it.
Well, to your point, we were talking about this before. I was reading this about the third most relaxed city. And then the Seattle Times, Gene Balk from the Seattle Times, he then, within like 2 hours, literally, of these stories coming out, he puts out a story at the Seattle Times that Seattle hits record number of people living by themselves. So we are like near the top in the nation of people living by themselves. So then, all of a sudden you got to look at this and say, okay, is that because everyone's living by themselves? That's why they're so relaxed.
Yeah, you can. Well, you could be relaxed and lonely at the same time.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I get it.
So here we go. Seattle is, near the top of number of people living by themselves. We're next to D.C., Baltimore, and
Baltimore.
Yeah.
I thought you meant relaxed. I'm like, Baltimore. Sheesh.
No,
Okay.
living by themselves.
Yeah.
So they use the data they use as single person households have become much more common across the country. So demographic trends such as later marriage or no marriage, lower birth rates, and aging population have contributed to this. Of course, in Seattle, a lot of people like you live downtown, right? So a lot of people are living downtown. So, it just got me thinking, okay, is there correlation between we're relaxed and we're also many people living by themselves? And there could be some, I've got 4 kids, and
it's not very relaxing. Is
it's
it?
not super relaxing, but I tell you, it's meaningful.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right? It's purposeful. It's meaningful. I wouldn't want it any other way. If you gave me a choice, I'd be like, no, this is amazing. I love this life. I love having 4 kids. Love having 4 daughters in particular. Pretty special, and it's interesting because I think, America's kind of trending this way. Cities are trending this way. And it reminded me of a book from, I don't know, it was about 20 years ago. It was a landmark book. A sociologist, Michael Putnam, wrote this that a lot of people still talk about today. And there's been kind of sequels to this book called Bowling Alone. I don't know if you've ever heard that book before. I mean, it won a number of prizes and very well-regarded book, and it really kind of traces this in America of how we are just becoming more alone, right? And how our institutions, basically talks about the social capital that we used to rely on social connections, civic involvement, and the decline of that in America has led to the decline of social capital. So people used to be involved in civic groups, right? PTAs, unions, clubs. There used to be a lot more informal socializing, among neighbors and friends and family gatherings. And an example of it is, what do you do when the doorbell rings compared to what you did when the doorbell rang 20 years ago, right? When the doorbell rings now, you live in a condo, so you probably don't get this a lot, but
check your app.
In a single family house, you're kind of like, get under the door. We're not home, right? We're not. 20 years ago, when the doorbell rang, be like, oh my gosh, someone's here. Come on in, And Michael Putnam, he really talks about how the disintegration of the social fabric is really happening in America, and these technology and lifestyle changes, and so the whole idea of bowling alone is that the data was that actually more people bowled than they ever did, but there's fewer bowling leagues. So you have more people who are bowling, but you have less bowling leagues. And so that's how he came up with the whole idea of bowling alone. And to kind of sum up this concept of more people are just more living alone than they ever have here in America.
And terminally online,
Right. So
less need for social. You don't have to go to the grocery store anymore.
Right. Hey, Tim Gatos in for John Curley on the John Curley Show. Let's check in with Nate at the real-time traffic desk.
All right, Tim, over in Bellevue, good news. Eastbound 90 just before 405. Just the HOV lane remains blocked now, so this opens up a couple lanes for you. Right now, though, you're looking at a bumper-to-bumper backup inside the Mercer Tunnel. Seattle to Bellevue has climbed to 35 minutes there on I-90, but now this will improve exponentially. Here in Seattle, South 5, heavy from the U District to the West Seattle Bridge. Linwood to Seattle, a half-hour drive. North 5 slows from the Michigan Curve in the downtown. South 405 is jam-packed from Northeast 8th and Bellevue to Cold Creek Parkway. And then this opens up pretty quickly from there. Bellevue to Renton, give yourself a half hour. Renton to Puyallup has improved to 40 minutes. And Seattle to Federal Way, we're at 35 minutes. We're crowded from Interurban Avenue to State Route 516. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Seattle's morning news.
Hi, it's Charlie Harder. Coming up Monday morning, the stock market is up, so why are so many Americans feeling left behind? We speak with CBS Money analyst Jill Schlesinger, and Casey McNerney from the King County Prosecutor's Office joins us for our weekly Crime and Punishment segment. Seattle's morning news, 5 to 9 a.m. every weekday on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
Hello, folks. John Curley here. You know that moment in December when you step out of bed and the house feels, colder than it should? Yeah, that's when comfort starts to matter. And comfort isn't just about warm air. It's knowing your home is ready for winter. And if something breaks down, you're not stuck wondering who to trust. You've already got the right people. The kind that show up and tell you straight what's going on and fix it without turning it into a sales pitch. That's why I've trusted Home Comfort Alliance for years. Through every winter in Washington, they've kept my place comfortable and always treat my home with care. So as you settle in with a family this season, make sure your home's ready too. And if anything in your heating, plumbing, or electrical system needs attention, call the comfort people at Home Comfort Alliance or visit homecomfortalliance.com. Don't wait till that old furnace fails on a cold winter night. Schedule a consultation today at homecomfortalliance.com. That's homecomfortalliance.com.
What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most. That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger. But your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply.
Life's expensive enough, isn't it? Groceries, gas, kids' activities. Sometimes your roof needs replacing, but your budget says not now. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. We want to help with an offer to lift that weight off your shoulders. Get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Or save up to $3,000 on a new roof today. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
It's always such a pleasure for me to catch up with you, Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. And as I understand it, calendar year is wrapping up. There's never a better time to take care of your aches and pains. Why?
Well, it's always a great time to come see us here at IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. We'll take care of your aches and pains. We'll get you better. But particularly, Brock, at the end of the year, most people have met their deductibles. They may have HSA, may have FSA funds. So use the opportunity to use your insurance to treat those aches and pains so you're not taking them into the new year. So you're healthy, fit, and you're excited about the new year. That's what it's all about. Here at IRG, we are so dedicated to making sure our patients really understand the insurance because it's a complex world. So when you call us, we're going to help you navigate your insurance. But I will tell everybody listening right now, if you've met your deductible, get your aches and pains treated here at IRG. We'll take care of you. We'll take care of your insurance. We'll take care of your family. We'll take care of everybody.
Clinics up and down the Puget Sound for you to go visit or see them online at irgpt.com.
Hi, this is Keith Dashafi, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. This holiday season, give your home the gift it's been waiting for. Beautiful new windows and doors from Pella, making your home brighter, cozier, and more energy efficient for the year ahead. Right now, enjoy 40% off qualifying installs or 24 months of zero interest with equal payments. Premium products, expert installation, and service that feels like family. It's why homeowners across the Northwest trust Pella. Visit PellaPNW.com to schedule your in-home consultation today.
With Steel, batteries are included. This holiday season, give a gift that's ready to go right out of the box. For everything from cleaning up the yard to cutting up firewood, Steel tools check off the wish list and knock out the to-do list. And right now, buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit SteelUSA.com for holiday deals and gift ideas. Happy holidays from Steel. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
FIFA World Cup 2026 is coming soon, but your opportunity to be there starts now through an exclusive offer with an eligible Bank of America Visa credit card. For a limited time, become a new customized cash rewards or unlimited cash rewards Visa credit card holder, and you will be eligible for a chance to purchase FIFA World Cup 2026 tickets. Learn more at BofA.com/cardFWC26. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America N.A. in partnership with Visa. Terms apply. Rights reserved.
KIRO News Radio has your chance to win 4 tickets to the Seahawks game, Sunday, December 14th. Head to the KIRO News Radio app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter to win. You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter through the KIRO News Radio app, the better your odds will be. Do it every day, December 2nd through December 8th. Details and rules at mynorthwest.com/win. From the station where the 12s hear the Hawks, KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
For 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has earned local trust with honest pricing and guaranteed repairs. That's why they're Carfax preferred. No gimmicks, just great service. Bucky's.com.
And we are back here, the John Curley Show. Tim Gatos in for John today. Man, we're having a good time. Joe's just crushing as usual.
Thanks, man.
Hey, I tell you, the White House is asking for your help. They're wanting folks to submit responses into they set up a new web portal to spotlight bias on the part of news outlets. And they're going to put on what they're calling their Media Offenders of the Week. And I don't know if you win a prize or money or what you get if you're the one that kind of submits the winner. But the White House wants to begin to put up their Hall of Shame for news outlets. And, and I'll just say this is, I think, actually, I don't know what you think about this, Joe. I think this is good because I tell you, there's one thing you do. You kind of do this with kids a lot of times. Like if I'm in a store with, my little one who's acting up, a lot of times the best thing you can do is almost kind of to get them to stop is to mock them a little bit, right? And be like, it works. Yeah. It really does. You're like, no, you can't do this in the store. I'm sorry. Yeah. We're gonna mock this. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay. And you put it back to them, which is, I think, important. So, and I think, too, we've seen that there is, the independent fact checkers that are out there have clearly shown that there is, when it comes to covering Trump and his White House, it definitely doesn't lean in his favor. We'll just say that. But here's some audio that we've got.
The White House launched a new website where they highlight the Media Offender of the Week. That's whichever news outlet spins a Trump story the worst. It's got to be tough competition. It's like the cast of The View competing in a don't break your chair contest. But among its offender hall of shame, they mention the hoax that the U.S. Coast Guard will no longer classify swastikas and nooses as hate symbols, a fabricated story that an L.A. woman was kidnapped by ICE, and the media's constant fawning coverage of the Maryland dad. Of course, the media didn't take kindly to this oversight. Jim Acosta says the new website, quote, cracked the code on how to hurt the press. A hack at The Guardian calls it a desperate gimmick, and the Washington Post says the website is just Trump ramping up reporter attacks.
Well, there it is. If you've got a submission, go to
whitehouse.gov.
Whitehouse.gov and put it in the web portal, and perhaps you could be the winner of the week of highlighting the media offender of the week.
I'd love a slightly less biased arbiter of the offenders, but whatever.
Yeah,
Take what you can get.
Right, exactly.
What do you win? I missed it. Or did they say?
Yeah, you get a sticker.
Yeah.
Is this something that silly?
You get a sticker.
Just recognition?
Yeah.
All right.
You get to toss to Nate for traffic.
Oh.
Yeah.
You get that's actually a big prize.
That
Nate.
is.
Nate, that's a big prize.
All right.
How we looking, man?
Things are thinning out. We're looking really good. In fact, that long-term blocking issue out toward Bellevue, we're all clear now. Eastbound 90 just before 405 had 3 lanes blocked there for over an hour. That's why you're backed up to the Mercer Tunnel. Seattle to Bellevue has climbed, actually, to 40 minutes. Linwood to Seattle, we're at a half hour, a little slowing through Linwood, nothing serious, and then it clears out all the way down to Lake City Way. And then from there, you're slow to the West Seattle Bridge. North 5 gets packed at the Michigan Curve in the downtown. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett continue to look great, just 40 minutes each. We do have a new collision, however, North 5 and Northeast 85th right there in your left lane. South 405, thick between Northeast 8th and Cold Creek Parkway. Bellevue to Renton, a half hour. And Tacoma to Olympia, we're at an hour and 10 minutes, still struggling along JBLM from earlier issues. KIRO Newsradio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
The Seahawks' surge to the playoffs continues with a trip down south.
Fires down the middle, intercepted!
Against the Falcons in Atlanta.
They do a good job. They do a really good job.
They are a really good blitzing team.
Aiming for their 10th win of the season and looking to stay atop a 3-way tie in the NFL's toughest division. Every game is a must-win.
And this one goes to the house!
Kickoff Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Pregame at 7.
Where the 12s hear the Hawks. KIRO Newsradio on 97.3 FM.
John Curley here for Longevity Medical Clinic. I have to tell you, I don't know where I would be in my life without Longevity Medical Clinic. I've been a patient for 15 years. It's so easy to get started. Schedule a free health analysis appointment online with LongevityMedicalClinic.com. During your visit, you're going to spend a full hour with your doctor to craft a comprehensive health plan tailored to your exact needs and lifestyle. I've been able to reduce my risk for serious disease like heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Longevity will help you plan for long-term well-being and personalized health care. The approach is really simple. It's proactive. It focuses on prevention, going beyond the traditional model of just merely managing your symptoms and treating conditions as they arise. Let's face it, just because you're getting older, we're all getting older, it doesn't mean you have to fall apart. Get started with your free health analysis at Longevity Medical Clinic. That's LongevityMedicalClinic.com. Again, that's LongevityMedicalClinic.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Get ready, because Murphy Auction is closing out the year with a massive Marysville equipment auction with the complete dispersal of AA rentals, 7 mini excavators, 17 skid steers, tractors, backhoes, telescopic forklifts, and over 100 gas-powered landscaping tools. Need something heavier? A John Deere 85G excavator, a Hitachi ZX290LC, a Cat CS563E roller, and 10 high-reach boom lifts, plus 3 big-time dump trucks hit the block, a 2018 Kenworth T880 Super Solo, a 2019 Peterbilt quad axle, and a 2005 Kenworth T800 quad axle, plus a fleet of 6 2017 to 2019 Peterbilt 567 tractors. The biggest auction of the year of heavy equipment, trucks, and more is underway now and closes at 10 a.m. Thursday, December 11th. Visit murphyauction.com for details. That's murphyauction.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Best Mortgage, the VA loan and reverse mortgage experts, are proud to partner with KIRO Radio for over 20 years. Get a no-pressure consultation from a real person, never an AI bot. Web search Best Mortgage for honest advice you can trust.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news.
A minimum wage increase proposal is moving forward in unincorporated King County.
KIRO News Radio.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. The Supreme Court agrees to review President Trump's bid to end birthright citizenship, which automatically grants it to anyone born in the U.S. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson.
The question now is whether or not the president can, by executive order, undermine that understanding. The Supreme Court's going to take up this case. I think this was always destined for the court. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think this is maybe 8-1, 7-2 that no, the president cannot do this.
The Congressional Progressive Caucus is calling for an investigation into Arizona Democratic Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva's claims that she was pepper sprayed by ICE agents while grabbing lunch today in Tucson.
You guys need to clear now.
The Congresswoman says she identified herself.
I was here. This is like the restaurant I come to literally once a week, and was sprayed in the face by a very aggressive agent.
A Department of Homeland Security spokesperson says Grijalva was not pepper sprayed, but was in the vicinity of someone who was struck. The CDC Vaccine Advisory Panel has voted to stop recommending newborns get their first dose of the hepatitis B vaccine within 24 hours of birth. CBS News chief medical correspondent Dr. John LaPook.
I think the point is made by a lot of people I've spoken to is you don't handicap the advice because you're afraid that people won't follow it because of their individual preferences. You give the best possible advice, and that's your advice. And then after that, if people want to make their own informed choices, then you go for it.
Netflix agrees to acquire the studio and streaming assets of Warner Brothers Discovery. KCBS's Matt Bigler with reaction from some subscribers.
The $72 billion deal could see iconic movie franchises like Batman and Harry Potter moving under the Netflix umbrella.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what? People might appreciate the package if it's available to them. There's a lot of fans out there.
How much would you be willing to pay for all of these in one place?
No more than 20.
But other Netflix subscribers worry that streaming will soon cost just as much as cable.
And I canceled my cable because I wasn't willing to pay.
The Warner Brothers Discovery buyout is expected to face possible antitrust scrutiny. Matt Bigler for CBS News, Los Gatos, California.
FIFA's president, during today's World Cup draw at the Kennedy Center, has awarded the group's new Peace Prize to President Trump for his efforts to broker a ceasefire in Gaza. The president responding.
I just want to thank everybody. The world is a safer place now. The United States 1 year ago was not doing too well. And now I have to say we're the hottest country anywhere in the world, and we're going to keep it that way.
This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Coming up, the body camera footage of a fatal officer-involved shooting. That's after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
Thanks, Aaron. Over in Bellevue, good news. Eastbound 90 is now all clear across Mercer Island after we opened up those 3 lanes near 405. Boy, that quickly cleared out. Linwood to Seattle, we're at a half hour. A little slowing in Linwood to get through, and then you're clear all the way to Lake City Way. And then from there, it's slowed down about the West Seattle Bridge. North 5 is jam-packed from the Michigan Curve in the downtown. Just heavy volume here. Seattle to Everett, Bellevue to Everett are both looking great. 40 minutes. In fact, we cleared our crash North 5 near Northeast 85th. It's on the right shoulder. South 405 still packed at Northeast 8th and Bellevue to Cold Creek Parkway. Bellevue to Renton, a half-hour drive. Tacoma to Olympia, an hour 10. Your biggest holdup here is a 5-mile bumper-to-bumper backup along JBLM. And southbound 507, you've got a 3 to 4 mile bumper-to-bumper backup between Roy and McKenna. We've got a high wind advisory over the Narrows Bridge. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Granillo. Seattle Police Department released the 911 calls before a deadly officer-involved shooting Tuesday in Seattle's Rainier Valley.
There's a dude walking up the hill on Othello. He got a gun in his hand, and he just pointed at everybody that drive by.
KIRO News Radio's James Lynch got a look at the officer-worn body camera footage.
In the video, the intersection is crowded with cars and people, and the suspect can be seen walking toward officers and pointing the gun directly at them. They open fire, striking the man multiple times. He falls to the ground, then points the gun at officers again. They shoot him a second time. John Urquhart is a retired King County sheriff and law enforcement analyst.
People want to know is what other possibilities did the Seattle Police Department have other than shooting him? And I don't think they had any.
Officers fired more than 21 rounds before the incident was over. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
And you can find a link to that video at mynorthwest.com. More than half of all violent crimes in our state are going unsolved. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lenzi reports.
Marshall Clement, the director of the Council of States Government Justice Center, told a House committee on Thursday that just 44% of reported violent crimes in Washington were cleared by police last year.
Nothing else in our criminal justice system can happen, rehabilitation, deterrence, incapacitation, unless we have a system that actually solves the majority of violent crime.
Jeff Asher, a crime data analyst at Tulane University, says part of the problem is Washington's ongoing police staffing shortage. He says it's much harder now than it was 30 years ago to hire new officers. Frank Lenzi, KIRO News Radio.
Well, Team USA will play in Seattle during next year's World Cup. KIRO 7 TV talked to the CEO of Seattle's World Cup Organizing Committee, Peter Tomasawa.
It's coming fast. It's coming furious. We've been planning for 2.5 years now.
USA is set to face Australia at Lumen Field on June 19th. Seattle is hosting 6 total matches. Weather now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. We are looking at showers tonight, breezy at times. Same for tomorrow, also with some sun breaks, more rain on Sunday, dry weather later in the day. And then be prepared. It is going to be heavy rainfall starting next week. Right now, 55 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. This is the John Curley Show on KIRO News Radio.
And we're back here, John Curley Show. Tim Gatos in for John today. Been having a great time. Thanks for tuning in. And I tell you, if you heard the weather report, what I think, Joe, is that it's too early to begin saying, why do I live here? And I tell you why I say that, because first, Cliff Mass was with us earlier. He said the mountains are going to see 15 to 18 inches of rain next week, and the lowlands.
Atmospheric Godzilla, is that what he called it?
Yeah, Godzilla, atmospheric river. And then the lowlands, we're looking at anywhere to 5 to 8 inches, something like that. Oh my goodness! And so my wife is from L.A. You're from California. Yep. You're a Southern Cal guy. So we've been married 21 years, and she born and raised in L.A. And so when we got married, and she was going to be moving up here to Seattle, there was a lot of conversations about how is she going to adjust to life up here in the rainy Pacific Northwest. And I've always described it, and the way I described it to her and the way that I've described it to other people is sort of like, hey, here's the deal. The summers are the best in the world, right? You're not going to get anything better than the summers. Mid to upper 70s, low 80s, no bugs, no humidity. I mean, it's just like it's top of the top.
Perfection.
Right? And then you head into September, and the fall is phenomenal, right?
Agreed.
The fall is, September can still be a little warm. Maybe you get a little Indian summer. It's still 70s till maybe mid to late September. But then you move into a little of the rainier season in October. But what you have is you have the fall, right? You've got the leaves are changing. It's beautiful. You see the mountains and you experience kind of all that the fall has to offer. And then you move into the holiday season, right? So it starts to rain a lot more, but you got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, the lights are up, and you still have that, you got that vibe going that kind of gets you through the rains picking up, right? And then of course, if you can make it in this area, you have to make it January and February, right? If you can make it through January and February, you got to always plan don't do a summer vacation. You have to do a vacation to somewhere warm in the February, March timeframe. You got to have that one thing to look forward to. And that's and then once you get back from that vitamin D vacation, then the spring hits and then you're kind of close to summer. And so that was kind of how I described it to my wife coming up from LA. Here's how you survive, living up here. But here's the thing now we've got, next week, we got 8 inches of rain coming, and that's why I say it's too early for us to begin saying, how do I survive living here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. My hack, and by the way, that's perfect. The February or the February vacation in anywhere sunny pretty much gets you through the next few months. I moved from Southern California to Phoenix for 9 years. And I didn't want to see the sun again. It was, by the time I left Phoenix, all I wanted was moisture and green stuff anywhere. And it was perfect. So it took me about 3 years to kind of get bummed out on the weather here.
Yeah, okay.
Then I picked up your early spring vacation hack.
Right. Yeah. Don't go somewhere during August, right? Try to do something in February, March timeframe. But speaking of Seattle, we got the World Cup coming. I mean, this is going to be unbelievable. We talked about this a little bit ago, but some breaking news. You probably heard this earlier. President Trump was awarded the new FIFA Peace Prize today at the 2026 World Cup draw. And it was their first ever time they've done this. So it's kind of a brand new award. I don't know if it's like the first and last.
What a coincidence.
But Trump, he had openly campaigned for the Nobel Peace Prize, had been heavily expected to receive this prize. The FIFA president has said he thought Trump should have won the Nobel for his efforts to broker a ceasefire in Gaza. And in awarding the prize, the FIFA president told Trump it's a, quote, beautiful medal for you that you can wear everywhere you want to go. But I thought it was pretty cool. I know we got some audio from his receiving this award today.
And therefore, FIFA, the Fédération Internationale de Football Association, awards the 2025 FIFA Peace Prize, Football Unites the World, to Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, in recognition of his exceptional and extraordinary actions to promote peace and unity around the world. Before giving you the floor, Mr. President, if I may say 2 words. I was lucky, Mr. President, to witness a few years ago the Abraham Accord signatures. A few months ago in Sharm el-Sheikh, the peace in the Middle East agreement regarding Gaza. This is what we want from a leader. And you can always count, Mr. President, on my support, on the support of the entire football community or soccer community to help you make peace and make the world prosper all over the world. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Trump receiving the FIFA Peace Prize, which, hey, I tell you, he's done a lot for peace around the country. It's something that he's certainly focused on. A lot of people actually think he is doing too much international relations and needs to be focused a little more here in the U.S. But certainly he is. You can't say Trump doesn't like war. He doesn't, and it's something that he's actually worked a lot at. Maybe a little too much. But here's him receiving this award, which
Thank you very much. This is truly one of the great honors of my life. And beyond awards, Johnny and I were discussing this. We saved millions and millions of lives. The Congo is an example, over 10 million people killed, and it was heading for another 10 million very quickly. And it just, the fact that we could do that, India, Pakistan, so many different wars that we're able to end, in some cases a little bit before they started, just right before they started. It was going to be late, but we got them done, and it's such an honor to be with Johnny. I've known Johnny for so long. He's done such an incredible job.
Thinking of the Nobel Peace Prize, that was awarded this year to Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, who said shortly after the prize was announced that she was dedicating it in part to Trump for his decisive support of our cause. And again, I think there's got to be a lot to be said, a lot of credit due. And so, hey, if it took the first ever FIFA Peace Prize.
By the way, I think just in fairness with the Nobel Peace Prize, I don't think most of what he did, he wouldn't be eligible until next year to actually win. You need to be nominated a year in advance.
Right, exactly. Well, here's, the funny thing about his acceptance speech is talking in the World Cup is, football. And he had some comments about football.
When you look at what has happened to football in the United States, it's, again, soccer in the United States. We seem to never call it that because we have a little bit of a conflict with another thing that's called football. But when you think about it, shouldn't it really be called? This is football. There's no question about it. We have to come up with another name for that. It really doesn't make sense when you think about it.
So what do you think, Joe? Should we come up with another name for football?
Another name for the NFL?
Yeah.
Ooh, Roger Goodell's not going to like that. I think they're pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's actually surprising that they did co-opt the name football however many years ago the NFL started, but it's definitely confusing on the world stage.
Yeah, for sure. Well, coming, we've got World Cup. Of course, we talked earlier that Australia is going to be our first opponent, June 19th, here in Seattle. Not at Lumen Field, but Seattle Field, Seattle Stadium, right? They're
renaming it. It is Lumen Field, but called something else. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And, some folks were, our local organizing committee, they were a little bummed out that we didn't get some of the Asian teams like Japan or South Korea, or maybe some of the more notable teams like Brazil or Portugal that I know some of the World Cup organizing committee here in Seattle was hoping that we might see a little more of a kind of top tier team. But
they probably, I think those countries travel a little better also, and they're a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Australia is pretty far away.
So there's been this big, there's obviously a lot of notoriety and a lot of talk about how many people are coming to Seattle. And, some say 750,000 people, right, are going to be in Seattle. And it's basically like hosting 6 Super Bowls over the course of the World Cup time from, mid-June through July. Is that going to come to fruition, right? Is this I've never been to a World Cup. I don't know if you have.
Nope.
I've never experienced it. I've experienced the Olympics. I've experienced kind of a large organizing sporting event like that, but the World Cup is the biggest event, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I know some people who are already putting up their Seattle homes and Seattle condos on Airbnb, VRBO. They're kind of jacking up the price right now, and
that's a good idea.
Hoping that they can get some folks who are going to be coming in from Australia, right, and other places, because I'd be curious what the occupancy of our Seattle hotels are right now. I mean, I assume that everything is going to be close to sold out, and then at what point Joe, do you put your condo up on VRBO?
Yeah,
over the course of 6 weeks, you could probably make $50,000 over the course of 6 weeks. Well, maybe that might be a little. How big's your condo?
It's 750 square feet, but
Okay.
it's a prime location. I mean,
Yeah.
if people are desperate enough, if I get 50 grand for it for 2 weeks, I'll take it.
Would you do it?
I would have to. It would take some convincing on my wife's part, but I think I can get her there.
I think. Yeah. Well, that's coming. Hey. Speaking of Washington, our governor, Bob Ferguson, this is actually some really good news. I mean, when it comes to spending and revenue here in the state of Washington, we're usually getting just bad news after bad news, but we got some good news here this week. He talked about how he is not going to increase revenue through sales tax and property tax, even though that there's a multi-billion-dollar shortfall, which, by the way, and John Scholl said this earlier, politicians are slippery, right? I mean, they are a slippery bunch, and they love to use terms, right? Like we talked about how the homelessness term covers everything, right? When it doesn't. And they use the term shortfall, right, to say, oh, man, we've got this shortfall. It's like, well, now the shortfall is the expected spending that we want, right, to have. Like if I want to buy a Lamborghini next year and I don't have the money, that's a shortfall, right?
Right. And
so they like to use these terms. So they like to say, we got this shortfall. What are we going to do? Well, the good news in all of that, Ferguson came out this week and he says, I don't plan on balancing the budget with revenue. It's a fluid situation, as you might imagine, but that's our focus right now. And he also says he's not going to sign any increase or sales or property taxes. Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen one time?
The words "don't plan" are doing a lot of heavy lifting here. I don't know.
Right.
You
He
believe
did.
him?
I mean, he did say that right after he got elected into office and before he became governor. He kind of threw those initial, buzzwords out there and shots over the bow of obviously the progressive Democrats, who then kind of still wrangled him to increase the budget with those taxes. And they're at that point, it was primarily, that's like B&O and a lot of those business taxes. And so now, obviously, the sales tax and property tax, I mean, that's directed towards, that's like you and I, right? Like that's like, folks who are on the ground. It's not a business tax. That's something that is important to us. So Ferguson's comments, they offered the clearest insight yet on his approach to writing his first spending plan. And it puts him at odds with the progressive Democrats who are wanting more taxes, right? They want to tax, they want sales tax, they want property tax. In fact, right before Ferguson gave these comments, Sean Scott, who's a Washington representative, who's part of the Socialist Party, he held a press conference on the Capitol steps about payroll tax legislation, and he's sponsoring that, and he would target larger companies with higher paid employees. And so it was interesting to see that kind of back to back, right? Like Ferguson comes out, says this, Sean Scott comes out and says this. And I hope this time Ferguson stands his ground and does what he says he's going to do.
I do too. Not hold my breath, but
I hope he does what he says he's going to do. Tim Gatos in for John Curley on the John Curley Show. Let's toss it over to Nate at the real-time traffic desk.
All right, we definitely have peaked already. In fact, volumes are thinning out all of our major routes right now. Linwood to Seattle, still around a half hour, but it's still packed about 85th now down to I-90 instead of Northgate. North 5 gets packed at the Michigan Curve in the downtown. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett continue to look great, just 40-minute drives. Bellevue to Renton, 25 minutes. It's packed from Southeast 8th and Bellevue to Cold Creek Parkway. Federal Way to Tacoma is pushing 20 minutes. It's crowded, though, from South 320th all the way down to the Tacoma Tacoma Dome, but your freeway speeds here. Tacoma to Olympia, slowly improving. We're at a solid hour now. You're slow through the length of South Tacoma, starting at State Route 16, a 5-mile thick backup along JBLM, and yet more slowing heading into Olympia. And out in Mason County in Belfair, southbound 3 has a 4-mile bumper-to-bumper backup starting at the Bremerton Airport. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
The Seahawks' surge to the playoffs continues with a trip down south.
Fires down the middle, intercepted!
Against the Falcons in Atlanta.
They do a good job. They do a really good job.
They are a really good blitzing team.
Aiming for their 10th win of the season and looking to stay atop a 3-way tie in the NFL's toughest division. Every game is a must-win.
And this one goes to the house!
Kickoff Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Pregame at 7.
Where the 12s hear the Hawks. KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM.
Retirement sneaks up fast. One day you're saying, well, yeah, I got plenty of time. And the next thing you know, you're asking, when do I take Social Security and how much tax will I owe? Hi, everybody, it's John Curley. If you're approaching retirement, listen up. On December 11th at 6:30 p.m., Madrona Financial and CPAs are hosting a free Zoom workshop, The 7 Steps to a Successful Retirement. It's the whole picture: taxes, investments, Social Security timing, income planning, Medicare, estate planning. Madrona does retirement the way real people live it. They're both wealth advisors and CPAs, so they'll show you how all the moving parts fit together. You'll learn how to avoid tax traps, build a simple income plan, and how to protect your savings from market volatility. It's friendly, eye-opening, and you can join right from home. Call 833-673-7373 to sign up. That's 833-673-7373. Take an hour and finally get clarity about retirement.
Paid political announcement.
More than half of short-term rentals across Washington are booked by Washingtonians. Families traveling for their children's tournaments and games. Firefighters fighting wildfires. Traveling nurses providing critical care. Every day, short-term rentals are helping make travel more affordable. Legislators in Olympia are considering increasing taxes on short-term rentals. But with the cost of everything going up, we can't take another price increase. Keep travel affordable for us. Paid for by Airbnb helps our State Thrive host pack.
The Puyallup Tribe of Indians and Salish Cancer Center are excited to announce the 3rd annual Giving Hope Gala. You can help support the Giving Hope Gala December 13th at the Emerald Queen Casino Event Center and raise money for the Patient Financial Assistance Fund. The Salish Cancer Center helps anyone battling cancer, and attending this incredible event supports that cause. For tickets, sponsorship, and additional information on the Giving Hope Gala, visit puyalluptribe-nsn.gov. That's puyalluptribe-nsn.gov.
Hey, Brock Ewart here. It's such a joy for me to be joined by Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Shannon, I've heard so much about traveling physical therapists. What's that mean to you and IRG?
That's a great question, Brock. Traveling physical therapy right now, I think, is a fad, and a lot of young therapists are doing it, but they're missing opportunities that we provide here at IRG. And those things we provide at IRG are really important, and that's being part of a team and treating patients, building relationships, engaging with our community. That is so important. The other thing is they're not getting paid time off. A crew are paid time off, and they do not get continuing education, professional growth, and that is so important as a young therapist to have access to professional growth. The other thing is we have an enhanced compensation program here at IRG that our physical therapists, our occupational therapists can increase their earnings by engagement, outcomes, and intervention. That's what we're all about. We're about building a great culture for young therapists and all clinicians to work here.
Openings across the whole company. Head over to irgpt.com/careers, irgpt.com/careers.
Get ready, because Murphy Auction is closing out the year with a massive Marysville equipment auction with the complete dispersal of AA rentals, 7 mini excavators, 17 skid steers, tractors, backhoes, telescopic forklifts, and over 100 gas-powered landscaping tools. Need something heavier? A John Deere 85G excavator, a Hitachi ZX290LC, a Cat CS563E roller, and 10 high-reach boom lifts, plus 3 big-time dump trucks hit the block, a 2018 Kenworth T880 Super Solo, a 2019 Peterbilt quad axle, and a 2005 Kenworth T800 quad axle, plus a fleet of 6 2017 to 2019 Peterbilt 567 tractors. The biggest auction of the year of heavy equipment, trucks, and more is underway now and closes at 10 a.m. Thursday, December 11th. Visit murphyauction.com for details. That's murphyauction.com.
Hello, folks. John Curley here. You know that moment in December when you step out of bed and the house feels, well, colder than it should? Yeah, that's when comfort starts to matter. And comfort isn't just about warm air. It's knowing your home is ready for winter. And if something breaks down, you're not stuck wondering who to trust. You've already got the right people, the kind that show up and tell you straight what's going on and fix it without turning it into a sales pitch. That's why I've trusted Home Comfort Alliance for years. Through every winter in Washington, they've kept my place comfortable and always treat my home with care. So as you settle in with a family this season, make sure your home's ready too. And if anything in your heating, plumbing, or electrical system needs attention, call the comfort people at Home Comfort Alliance or visit homecomfortalliance.com. Don't wait till that old furnace fails on a cold winter night. Schedule a consultation today at homecomfortalliance.com. That's homecomfortalliance.com.
Just how good is Pure Talk's current deal for unlimited wireless? Well, you might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Because right now, for just $29.95 a month, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This is Pure Talk's top-tier plan. It comes with a crazy fast 5G network along with a 30-gig hotspot. And at just $29.95 a month, there has never been a better opportunity to lock in a ridiculously low rate for as long as you live. And save thousands and thousands of dollars along the way. This plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you will save over 50% every single month for the rest of your life. See what I mean? It really is the deal of your lifetime. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. Offer ends 12/7. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Granillo. Washington's Attorney General is joining Democratic lawmakers to propose a new law they say will protect the rights of immigrant workers. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has details.
The proposed Immigration Worker Protection Act would force businesses to alert workers whenever federal authorities request proof of their legal status. It also says businesses don't have to let federal immigration agents inside unless agents have legal authorization, like a warrant. Businesses like Anna Castro's La Salvadorian Bakery in Seattle.
I want my employees to feel safe. Right now, it's scary times for many people, no matter what their status are.
Castro says business is down because many customers are afraid to leave their homes to shop. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
U.S. Supreme Court has agreed to review President Trump's executive order that aims to end birthright citizenship. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson.
The Supreme Court's going to take up this case. I think this was always destined for the court. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think this is maybe 8-1, 7-2 that no, the president cannot do this.
President argues the 14th Amendment, which grants citizenship to all persons born on U.S. soil, does not apply to children born to undocumented immigrants. Metal thieves have hit Sumner Cemetery. Here's KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay.
Sumner police say some plaques and bronze markers have been stolen from the cemetery recently. They say the VA will pay to replace the markers for veterans. The city will pay for the rest. Police plan to boost security at the cemetery. If you have any information about these thefts, you're asked to call Sumner PD. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Light rail across Lake Washington will open before next summer. Sound Transit spokesperson Rochelle Cunningham tells us.
We, as an agency, are doing everything we can to open it sooner than that. So we don't have an official opening date yet, but we can confidently say it will be before May 31st.
It will link Seattle to Mercer Island on the I-90 floating bridge, and tomorrow 8 new miles of track open between SeaTac and Federal Way. Let's go now to the real-time traffic desk at 5:32. Here's Nate Connors.
It's brought to you by the Victorian Christmas Festival. Out in Redmond, we've got a new collision, and it's a big one. Eastbound 520 in Marymore Park is blocking 3 right lanes. So that leaves the left shoulder as the only access to get through this. And this is also blocking the on-ramp from West West Lake Sammamish Parkway. 520 itself, the freeway is backed up to 51st. Linwood to Seattle has gone up just a bit to 35 minutes, and our backup is extended now from Northgate to the West Seattle Bridge. North 5 still packed from the Michigan Curve in the downtown. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett, though, just looked great this evening at 40 minutes. Bellevue to Renton, 25 minutes. Federal Way to Tacoma, 20 minutes, but it's slow from 320th all the way down to the Tacoma Dome. But again, you're at freeway speeds here. Tacoma to Olympia, 1 hour. You're slow through the length of South Tacoma from 16 down into Lakewood. Again, then you got about a 4 to 5 mile thick backup along JBL and then still more slowing heading into Olympia and out toward Belfair, southbound 3, a 4 mile backup starting at the Bremerton Airport. As far as I can tell, this is just volume. The Victorian Christmas Festival, presented by Puyallup Chocolates, underway now through the 7th at the Washington State Fair Event Center. Buy tickets at VictorianChristmasFestival.com. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. We have some showers at times tonight, staying breezy. Rain at times tomorrow. Also some sun breaks. Sunday, same with some heavier rain Sunday night. And then starting next week, very, very heavy rain. Atmospheric river on the way. Right now, 54 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This hour brought to you by Wilcox Family Farm Eggs. Welcome back to the John Curley Show. Tim Gatos in for John today. And, of course, we got Joe crushing it today, as usual. Hey, Joe, we had the Gatos Christmas extravaganza this past week. This is a tradition in the house. Of course, you know, for us, we had 3 of our 4 children when we were living downtown. We lived downtown for 12 years. And
what neighborhood did you live in?
We didn't have them in the condos.
Okay.
We had them.
Some people do that.
We had our 4th in home, but our first 3 we had them up on Pill Hill there at
See, that's
Swedish.
where I live. Yes, nice.
Yeah,
my neighbors.
So we live the downtown urban city life for many years. We still live in Seattle, but we do come down. My kids, they don't see downtown the way that we did early on in our family life, obviously, because we live downtown.
Yeah.
So now as they get older, they're not used to, the downtown life as they once were, and some of them have obviously even forgotten about that kind of downtown
and
life.
It's changed a little bit.
It's changed. I'm a little disappointed because, my kids were like, oh gosh, we got to go downtown. And, for my wife and I, we're like, no, like this was our life. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
But we have had a couple weird experiences, unfortunately. And I'm definitely not like the guy who's like, oh man, Seattle, it's downtown, it's so bad. Because it's usually like, there's usually truth on both sides, right? Like there's usually truth of people of like, yeah, it's gotten worse. Yeah, it absolutely has. Like, let's not sugarcoat that one iota, but it's also not like,
it's not the hellhole that some people like to say it.
Exactly.
And it has gotten, if in my opinion, having lived downtown since 2017, it got very bad and it's gotten a little bit better.
Yeah. So we did have, we went to the Seafair Torchlight Parade in August. We did have a weird experience that's why especially my younger kids we were walking from the waterfront back up through Belltown where our car was. And I probably should have thought about this because it was late, right? It was like, by the time the parade was over and it was dark and we're walking up, a couple streets you want to avoid. And we had literally someone like shout at us and kind of lunge towards us, who was having an issue, and that freaked out, especially my youngest daughter, who was like, oh my gosh, like, is this what downtown's like?
Yeah, and that kid, that'll stick with them.
Yeah, no, that's like the core memory, inside out type of thing. So we had our Gatos Christmas extravaganza, and my youngest daughter was like, Dad, make sure you park really close to Fifth Avenue because we were going to see Elf.
Yeah.
And but we had a great time. I mean, we stayed, we stayed pretty close in between the retail district and of course we love downtown. We love going to the Fifth Avenue and all the different things. And what was interesting is that, we were doing some shopping, going into Anthropology and Urban Outfitters and it was cool to see those stores, of course, still open because they were open 15, 20 years ago when we were living there and visiting there all the time. But it was a little sad because it was a Sunday, for instance. So it wasn't like Friday night that had the Christmas tree lighting ceremony and it was chaos and pandemonium.
In a good way, though.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to some of the store workers. I was like, hey, how's the weekend been? And they were like, oh man, Friday was just off the charts. Yeah. And so that was really cool to hear. They said, Saturday wasn't as good. And then today, Sunday's been pretty slow. And, like it's not great when there's more security guards in the store than there are shoppers.
Yeah.
And it was, I always enjoyed talking to the security guards though. I mean, my family, I've got 4 daughters and they of course are going out there looking at the different stuff in the shop and I'm talking to the security guards and like, hey, what are you seeing nowadays? Right. And it was interesting what the security guard who was in front of Anthropology, which is a great store, by the way. Are you a big Anthropology guy?
You know what? I got to be honest. I'm not. I don't think I've ever made a purchase from Anthropology, but my wife loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's change it this year, Joe.
Okay.
Let's change that.
I'll stop in.
So I was talking to the security guard, Anthropology. He's from San Diego, so California guy like you.
My man.
And
619.
And he was just like, man, I am, and I didn't tell him I just asked him how things were going and what do you see? And he's like, man, I'm just shocked that we allow this basically, like just kind of the rampant shoplifting. Yeah. And I said, how often do you see shoplifters? And he goes, it's probably a dozen times on a, that whatever a shift is, 6 hours or something.
Yeesh.
He sees a good dozen shoplifters and he can't do anything. And I asked him, do you have a relationship with SPD? Do you guys work together? No, we don't, we don't do that. And it's like, man, I think we need to, I asked him if this would be helpful. What if we gave free lockers? Like we set up a whole just chain, a whole wall of lockers and everyone had to you can check your backpack in and you can do it for free. And there's really just kind of a carte blanche rule of no backpacks in the retail district. And
is that what he said?
That's what I told him. I was like, what do you think about this idea? Like, because it seems like if you're going in with a backpack, like it feels like there's a reason you're going in with a backpack.
That's
right?
fair. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that's like not 100% of the case, but it feels like it's maybe 90% of the case.
Did he say that a lot of shoplifters, they go in with a bag and they just fill it up and run out?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. So, I mean, what if you just tried that as a theory of like, hey, let's just offer free lockers and we'll make it a rule. No backpacks in stores in the retail district. And let's just do a beta case and see what happens. Are we going to improve the shoplifting?
Is it so? Okay, is that on the store to provide the lockers, or is this a city provided district thing?
Yeah, this is DSA.
Okay,
full blown.
Bellevue recently, and I know this is such a huge problem in Seattle, and I live downtown. I see it. The guy outside of Target in particular, it's just like they're not even walking 10 feet away from the door before they're putting out their wares and selling it to anybody that's willing. I think Bellevue recently enacted a policy where there's it's almost like it's not 3 strikes and you're out, like you're staying in prison for the rest of your life, but it's like 3 strikes. I think you actually do have to do time for shoplifting, and they're clearly making an effort to log people that are chronic shoplifters and and Bellevue's just, they seem to have it together quite a bit more in their retail side of things, but maybe that's something that Seattle needs to look towards.
Yeah,
that's not fair. It's so hard for businesses to stay open regardless, even if shoplifting wasn't a factor, just the cost of doing business downtown, the lack of people walking around with all the, with the companies not having their employees working downtown anymore. So anything ought to help.
Yeah. But overall, let me just say this. Yeah. It was an awesome night. Fifth Avenue did such a great job. The Fifth Avenue Theater, those people there are just doing such a great job. You walk in, it's like they got Mr. and Mrs. Claus in front of the Christmas tree. You can get photos, and they just got so many great things going. They did such a great job with the show, and so kudos to Fifth Avenue, and then kudos to Capitol Grill. We went to dinner at Capitol Grill. Nice. We went big time.
I love to hear that. I have to hear so much hate on downtown Seattle just by the nature of working on this show. So I love to hear a good Seattle story.
Yeah. I mean, it'd been years since I've been to Capitol Grill, and a shout out to Rod. He was our server.
Nice.
I mean, Rod he was awesome.
He earned that 20.
Oh my gosh. That
20%, but
yeah. Yeah, it was a little more than $20.
Oh, good.
But
good for you. Good for Rod.
Yeah. Well, great time, and hey, get out there and enjoy this holiday Christmas season. And with that, let's check in with Nate at the Real Time Traffic Desk. What's up, Nate?
Yeah. Hey, eastbound 520 in Marymore Park, a collision blocks 3 right lanes, really blocking the entire freeway, including the on-ramp from Westlake to Sammamish. So traffic right now is just squeaking by on that far left shoulder. In this eastbound backup, as you can imagine, is quickly stacking up. We're bumper to bumper now, starting at 40th. Linwood to Seattle, 35 minutes. North 5 still a little slow from the Michigan curve in the downtown. Let's Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett. We're just going to write this one off the map. Pretty much cleared out at 40 minutes each. Bellevue to Renton, 25 minutes. You're solid still from South Bellevue to Cold Creek Parkway. Federal Way to 20 minutes. Tacoma to Olympia, still an hour, 5 minutes. This report brought to you by the Harnish Auto Family. 6 dealerships, 1 family. It's the Harnish Auto Family year-end super sale. Wrap up the year with huge savings on popular new and pre-owned vehicles with HarnishAutoFamily.com. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Save the date, Wednesday, December 10th. Join KIRO News Radio and Treehouse for the 37th Annual Holiday Magic, providing holiday gifts and year-round support for more than 6,500 kids in foster care statewide. Over the past 36 years of Holiday Magic, we've delivered 182,000 gifts across our state. Join KIRO News Radio and Treehouse this year and share the joy of the holiday season. Wednesday, December 10th. Text MAGIC to 888-973-5476 to learn more.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice.
DayandNight.net. This month, Day and Night gives you a free furnace with the installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
DayandNight.net. The first few steps that I took in the morning were pretty painful.
This is Carlos.
I mean, I had been told by multiple orthopedic surgeons that there was no alternative for me.
That wasn't what he wanted to hear. You see, Carlos is an active guy.
I played basketball, and for 3 to 4 days after, my knees would just be so swollen. And now I can play basketball and there is no swelling. There is no pain in the knees.
No swelling, no pain, because Carlos went to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I'm just happy to be able to be out there. And then knowing that tomorrow I am not going to suffer for this.
What do you say to your friends and family who are in pain?
I say, I had horrible knee pain and stem cells really worked for me. You might want to go to Dr. Wagner, just get a consultation before you have surgery.
Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
What does VA mean to me?
A place for my daughter to call home. Thanks to the VA Home Loan.
A new lease on life. The best healthcare team I've ever had is here at VA.
And education and the opportunity to open doors I never thought possible with my GI Bill.
The financial support I need to manage the disabilities I developed because of my service.
Get what you earned. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
Welcome to this week's Puget Sound Express Whale Report. Holiday whale watching is in high gear, according to naturalists from Puget Sound Express. The past week has seen multiple families of Biggs orcas coming together for dramatic hunts that have wowed guests and crew alike. After dispatching their prey, the orcas have been breaching and socializing. Humpback whales are also being seen on tours as they feed before resuming their Pacific journeys. The team at Puget Sound Express want to remind you that whale watching during the holidays is a special holiday tradition that brings families together and is a unique Pacific Northwest experience. Family-run Puget Sound Express offers guaranteed whale-watching tours departing from Edmonds. These half-day tours are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Warm boats, homemade blueberry buckle. Don't miss out on your chance to see orcas and humpbacks in the wild. Family-run Puget Sound Express guarantees you'll see whales or your next trip is absolutely free. Book online at PugetSoundExpress.com.
Health insurance is broken, but it doesn't have to be. That's why Scan Health Plan was founded as a nonprofit, so we can create Medicare Advantage plans that focus on the real needs of seniors. We've been people first since 1977, and we're here to make Medicare work hard for you, because you deserve more than a broken system. You deserve a plan that fights for you. Visit scandifference.org to learn more. Scan Health Plan is an HMO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Scan Health Plan depends on contract renewal.
What's your holiday tradition? For most, it's gathering with a joyful meal. Unfortunately, for many families, that tradition feels out of reach. To help, please donate to Nourishing Neighbors the next time you're at Safeway checkout or visit nourishingneighbors.com.
The John Curley Show mailbag is brought to you by Pendergast Law.
Welcome back to the John Curley Show. Tim Gatos in for John. And, Joe, we were talking about tipping last segment, and, we're at an interesting, I think, inflection point this year because so many folks, they rely on kind of end-of-year tipping. I mean, that is a significant thing that a lot of people rely on. However, we're at this point where everything is just so dang expensive, right, to live. And
tipping fatigue is also a huge factor.
I mean, tipping fatigue is real, but just how much services are nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about the, Christmas tree and how much that costs. And there's just so much that, we're being impacted by, but there's a lot of new surveys coming out now. In fact, there's this one from Bankrate that talks about that people are really going to kind of dial back their end of year tipping, which is different than, you go to, like we talked about, you go to a restaurant, you get great service, you give, 20%, but there's a lot of the services that you kind of think about, you just tip them like towards the end of the year. It's like, just like
people that you deal with throughout the year on a regular basis.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, you got housekeepers and childcare providers, teachers, salons,
My wife's a hairstylist. She doesn't depend on it, but she does get, from some clients, massive tips at the end of the year, which is great, obviously. But man, I don't tip I obviously don't have a landscaper, but I don't tip my mail carrier. I don't have a trash collector that I know or see often enough. I've never done any of these things.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that's something that a lot of people are doing, but maybe that's a city thing.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got I'll probably tip my personal masseuse. No, I don't have one.
That sounds kind of awesome.
Our household, we do have, we have someone who comes to help us clean up a little bit. 4 kids and, we're running around.
Makes sense.
Definitely help out on that standpoint as well. To your point, I don't know who our trash collectors are.
Yeah.
I don't see them too often.
But every time this is an annual thing because it's, just everybody's talking about it at the end of the year. And trash collector is always on there. So is mail carrier. I've never met my mail carrier.
Yeah.
Even when I lived not in the city and I had a house and a mailbox and all that stuff, I still never met my mail carrier.
Yeah. But I think it's important though for those who really depend on that, right? I mean, I think that's significant. I mean, for your wife, has she kind of changed how she looks at things now that she's, I don't know how many years now that she kind of gets these, Christmas tips or bonuses? Has she kind of incorporated that now into
not into a budget of any kind? She certainly doesn't expect it. And again, there's no, she doesn't she doesn't have an invoice for it or anything or a special envelope that she hands her customers. It's just if they decide to do it, and she happens to see them towards the end of the year, then great. But yeah, I don't think there's any expectation. She certainly doesn't budget for it. But I do know now tipping is way down with and just because whether or not people are getting a minimum wage or a higher wage, everybody kind of assumes that they're making more on that side. And there's the no tax on tips thing that's coming out. Everybody's just really confused about what tipping is appropriate, how much to tip, or whether it's not necessary anymore. And yeah, she's definitely seen tips go way down in the last 12 months.
Well, when you're at a restaurant now, you really got to look at the fine print there at the end and just see, did they add that 20% service charge?
Fees. Yeah, it's crazy.
Because there's times, I've, and I think servers, and I was a server back in the day, and we called it the double, right? Yeah. And you got to love the double, right? Yeah. It's not a hamburger, but it's a
great hamburger.
It is a great hamburger, but it's the, back in the day, you would add this, the tip charge if it, let's say the table was 8 people and over, right? Yeah. You'd have an automatic 15 or 20, whatever it was. And so you'd have people, you'd put that tip charge on and then they'd add an additional tip on top of it. Sometimes they didn't know. Yep. Sometimes they were confused and sometimes they were just adding it on, right? But that was the double. Oh. And nowadays, it's you got to check for the double because you may be giving 40% instead of 20%.
Especially in Seattle. I think almost a majority of restaurants I go to nowadays have that service fee just built in.
Yeah. Well, hey, we'll toss it over to Nate at the real-time traffic desk. What's up, Nate?
Oh, it's still a busy night out there, Tim. Eastbound 520 in Redmond at Mary Moore Park, a collision blocks 2 right lanes now, as well as that on-ramp from Westlake to Sammamish Parkway. So this opens up the far left lane, but 520 is stacked up into Overlake now. Linwood to Seattle, half hour, still looking at heavy volumes from Northgate down to the West Seattle Bridge. North 5 is still packed from the Michigan Curve in the downtown. Tacoma to Olympia is still taking a little over an hour. You're slow through South Tacoma. And now our backup from JBLM is extending into Nisqually, and then more backups heading into Olympia. Out of Mason County, we have a couple issues this evening. Southbound 3 heading into Belfair has a 4-mile bumper-to-bumper backup starting at the Bremerton Airport. And then over in Allen, both directions now, State Route 302 are closed at North Bay Road due, sadly, to a fatality. So this will be a long-term closer, and we're seeing big backups out there. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most. That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family is banking on bandwidth. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger. But your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply.
For seniors, the holidays can be fun family time, but can also be a stressful time if you're struggling with bills. Our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage says a reverse mortgage may be the holiday gift you're looking for.
Many seniors love their home but are struggling with mortgage payments and other bills. A reverse mortgage lets you tap your home equity for tax-free cash. You can pay off your debts and maybe put some extra money in the bank for peace of mind. You've worked hard for that home equity. Now let it work for you. And best of all, you'll have no mortgage payments the rest of your life.
And you always talk to a real person, not an AI robot.
That's right. You'll get a no-pressure consultation directly from me or a highly experienced senior advisor. Never a sales pitch and never, ever an AI bot.
Honest advice you can trust from the reverse mortgage experts, Best Mortgage, the VA loan experts, and debt consolidation specialists too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
Home Comfort Alliance installs the most dependable home comfort solutions, including Mitsubishi electric heating and air conditioning systems. Call the comfort people, homecomfortalliance.com.
Your best source for local news, KIRO News Radio.